And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. I thank y'all for being here. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, live on the show. And I most certainly appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for coming in. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe right now to the channel. And when you do that, click the bell as well so you get notified whenever I go live and/or post a new video. There's a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over the world in general. Kamala Harris is your VP pick for the Democratic Party. Very interesting. Siding with Biden after she annihilated him in debates. That little girl was me. You were against integration. You were against busing. Where's all that energy now? Where is all that energy now? The first black woman, the first Indian, like which one? Pick one. You know, she's mixed with East Indian, like red dye Indian, black and white. So why did they say African American, Indian American, and nothing else? No white American, no European American? Okay. We see how that goes. I guess that white privilege don't really work in this case, huh? I guess it's all about that person of color. But they say that BIPOC, black indigenous people of color. You're gonna hear that a lot more. We'll talk about Kamala Harris. We'll talk about a lot of other topics tonight on this episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again. You guys are the best audience anywhere in the world, and I'm glad you're right here with me. Alrighty, shout out to y'all for coming on into the show. It's a whole lot going on. Talk about Kamala Harris, the Seattle Police Chief. Chicago was looted, but reparations, you know, it's okay because they got to eat, right? It's okay. They're trying to get bread. Also, the very sad story of Cannon Hinnant that I've not seen on the mainstream media. If you guys have seen it, you know, and you know, honestly, I don't watch that much mainstream media, so maybe I missed it. I read a lot of mainstream media, but I don't really watch it. If you guys have seen the story about Cannon Hinnant, you know, the 5-year-old boy that was shot and killed, the white boy that was shot and killed by the black male, let me know in the comments, but I've not seen it. Maybe it's just me looking in the wrong direction. Also, yeah, I saw that, Tanya, that New Zealand is back in lockdown. I saw the president, what's her name, Ardern, the lady, talking about, oh, well, New Zealand, we've had no new cases in 100 days or something like that. And 3 new cases, just 3 new cases putting it back in lockdown. For what? What is the purpose? Okay, we're not in lockdown. Like, they say that some things are kind of shut down, but a lockdown is over with. Kids are back in school. Everybody's around each other. Like, that whole thing is just, it's old. And then people are wearing masks that they say don't even work. You know, I'm wearing the net gator if I gotta go to Walmart. I don't care about nothing. I'm not wearing the N95. I got my nose out, and I want you to say something to me. I got my mask like right here. I'm not even wearing it. It's like a fashion accessory when I go to Walmart if I got to go there. But really, I'm not wearing the mask. And most people aren't. And if they are wearing it, they're wearing it halfway improperly. They're not washing it. So the whole mask thing is kind of a failed experiment, in my humble opinion. Depending upon where you are, and some of these more Democrat-run places, they got the mask on like it's a religion. And if you don't wear a mask, it's a problem. I saw a video from Australia of this lady getting wrestled to the ground by this officer for not wearing a mask. Like, I think she was leaving her residence and didn't have a mask on. And then that prompted the virtual beatdown from the officer. He didn't beat her down. He just kind of like, you know, gave her like a little strangle and then threw her to the ground. So for not wearing a mask. Now, my thing is, okay, if you're going to detain me for not wearing a mask and you touching on and you first of all, you're in my bubble. You're not socially distancing. You're violating that whole protocol. So that's strike number 1. And then strike number 2 is like, what's up with all this force over not wearing a mask? Like, that's not even really going to help. Okay? Not at all. So it's just really weird. But let's talk about Kamala Harris first and foremost, because that whole thing with Kamala Harris is hilarious. It's fantastic. I can't say that I'm surprised that she became the VP pick, not in the least bit. Why would I be surprised? at Kamala Harris becoming the VP pick. Check it out. That whole thing, that whole performance. Matter of fact, if I can find that performance right quick, I'm going to put it up. Hold on. Actually, I have something right here that I want to play. I've not seen all of this, but I kind of think I understand where it's going to go. But before I get to the clip, Kamala Harris, if you don't know, had this debate performance where she eviscerated, quote unquote, I'm using air quotes if you can't see. And by the way, this show is available on all audio streaming platforms, Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, etc. Link for that is in the description box. If you're listening over there, please give me a 5-star rating, a review, or share whatever you can. But anyway, so Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they're in a debate, and Joe Biden was against busing as part of integration. And he sided with integrationists when he was in Congress back early. You know, he was in Congress for a long time, since the 70s, up until he became the vice president in 2009. What did he get accomplished? I don't know, except for the crime bill, you know, locking black folks up in 1994 that he wrote, he authored, and then they said, hey, Bill Clinton apologized for the crime bill. A lot of the black leaders that wanted the crime bill apologized for it. Do you apologize for the crime bill? Nope, no, I don't. I wrote it, so what? That's what he said. But anyway, she really got on this case because he was against busing as part of integration, and he was friends with segregationists, with people that oppose integration. And then she had this whole big sob story talking about, I was part of the second integrated class in Berkeley, California. You didn't want busing. I was a little girl that was on the bus. This whole tearful almost thing, this little soliloquy, this little performance. And then just, you know, a little while later, like a year or so later, here she is as a VP pick, and it's all good, and it's no problem. So what I wanted to see her do is to see her defend her prior statements. Like, how are you going to say that it's all right now that he did all that, but it wasn't all right back then when you were trying to run up against him as, you know, a candidate trying to become the president? So let's see what she says here. This is on, what's this guy's name? Is this Colbert? I think so. These people, when they're at home and they don't have the makeup squad, I have no idea who they are. All right, but let's check it out.
In those debates, you landed haymakers on Joe Biden. I mean, his teeth were like chiclets all over the stage. And now I believe you that you're fully supportive of him. How does that transition happen? How do you go from being such a passionate opponent on such bedrock principles for you, and now you guys seem to be pals?
Great question. How's she going to answer? Now, before she answers, I feel like this is going to be a coached response, but I don't know. I've not seen it yet. I just saw like the first little piece of him asking the question, and then I saw her right there. I was like, okay, this is going to be good. Let's see what she says.
It was a debate.
Not everybody landed punches like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it?
It was a debate. The whole reason, literally, it was a debate. It was called a debate.
I understand.
Traveled to the debate. There were journalists there covering the debate, where there would be a debate.
So basically, it's like, look, man, it's just theatrics, man. It's a debate. I'm trying to win, so what? I'm going to go up there and cry. I'm going to go up there and lie. I'm going to go up there and do whatever I got to do to win a debate. I'm not going to be honest. I'm not going to tell you the truth. It's a debate. Cackling, you know, that's what you're getting right there. So if you're on the left and you want to vote for Kamala Harris, that's what you got. Okay, what she was saying, that little girl was me. She had pictures of herself. She had pictures of, like, when she was like a little girl. She had black and white pictures, this almost tearful thing. All of that, well, nothing but an act. This is a debate. So if she was just being an actress in that situation, and it was just all for politics, it's a debate, and laughing it off, I mean, how are you going to trust her at all? Huh? How are you going to trust her? And then let's talk about this whole thing of her ancestry. Now, look, I don't care that she is, you know, mixed race. That's what she is. Let's just keep it all the way real, okay? I don't really care about that. However, I don't like the fact that she's coming out here talking about, oh, I'm the first black woman. First black woman? Wait a minute. When you were in the Senate, when you got sworn into the Senate in 2017, you were sworn in as an Indian American. You were sworn in as an Indian American. So whatever happened to all of that? Let's talk about her ancestry. Her mother is 100% Indian from the Indian subcontinent. Red dot, all of that. And I'm not being racist. Like, matter of fact, I'm gonna find that picture that I had right quick. And you're gonna see them with the red dots on. Okay. She went from Nollywood to Bollywood. She went from Bollywood to Nollywood. That's what's going on. Okay, hold on. Here it is. There we go. Now, this is Kamala Harris. You see her right there on the left? Hold on. Right there. That's her. The dot is right there. You see it. The dot is right front row center. Okay? Little kids got it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, actually. Well, I'm going to zoom. There we go. So, little sis got it. Mama got it. Or I think I might be your grandparents right there. So, she's black. I mean, I'm just trying to figure it. I mean, does she count as black? Now, okay. She is, her mother is 100% Indian, right? You see the red dots in front of your eyes. You see them right there. Her father is mixed black and white from Jamaica. Okay. Does it make you black? If it makes you black, then why doesn't it make her white? Why doesn't it make her Indian? Can she just claim each individual thing? Can she just say she's biracial? I'm just kind of confused. I'm really confused. They did a DNA test of Angela Rye, the CNN commentator, and she came out 30% Irish specifically, not even just 30% white, 30% Irish, and her last name is Rye. Her name is she has an Irish name. She's 30% Irish. So is she Irish? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. People want to say, oh, the one drop rule. Where does the one drop rule come from? That comes from Jim Crow. That's a racist rule to deny you of certain rights because it say, oh, you got 1% black, then you're not white. You can't have access to certain things that white people have access to. It's a racist rule, but we still kind of adhere to it. Okay, now I feel like what's going on right now is that people are adhering to this rule because it benefits them in certain ways. There's no benefit in being white. Nowadays, keep it all the way real, the benefit is in being ethnic and being BIPOC. What they got in UK? BAME, Black, Asian, minority, ethnics. Okay, and then BIPOC here is Black, Indigenous people of color. Black, Indigenous people of color. And then, of course, the regular POC people of color. It used to be colored people, then it was Negro, then it was African. There's too many ways to keep up with. I'm having a hard time just following the trend. All I do know is that in 2017, when she got sworn into the Senate, she was an Indian American. And you see her right here. Now all of a sudden, she's a black woman. I'm just trying to figure out who's the real Kamala Harris. That's all I want to know. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. Obama, yeah, same thing with Obama. Obama's mixed black and white. Okay, he just as black as he is white because his father's from Africa, so there's no mix of white there like a typical African American might have some mix of white. So he's 100% black and 100% white. He's totally straight down the middle mixed, but he's seen as black and nothing else. It's kind of weird how that works. All right, so now, like I said, I don't really care too much about her race, but if you're going to be out there talking about I'm a black woman, and then there was this whole thing about the 100 black men that signed a letter that demanded that Joe Biden have a black woman run as a VP. So does Kamala Harris count? Is that enough? I guess so, because I don't hear anything from them. The Puff Daddies of the world, the Van Jones of the world, the Charlamagne the Gods of the world. I don't hear anything from them. So Kamala Harris must be satisfactory to meet that particular quota. That's what it is. It's a quota. Because first Joe Biden said it's going to be a woman. And then people on the outside said, hey, you know what? That's fine. It's going to be a woman. But guess what? It's got to be a black woman. So to satisfy the peanut gallery, some of the blue check mafia on Twitter, and to keep his promise, he rolled out Kamala Harris. Boom. You got the Asian, you got the black, the white don't count. Asian and the black is all that really matters. We good to go. We're good money. So it is what it is. Also, let's talk about Kamala Harris a little bit more. The whole thing with Willie Brown, the former mayor of San Francisco. Now, when she was starting to get rocking and rolling in her political career, Willie Brown helped her out in many different ways. He gave her certain high-level positions in government or certain little jobs and whatnot. He put her on, as the cool kids would say. He gave her a leg up. Now, the issue with Willie Brown is that they had an affair, Willie Brown and Kamala. Now, I don't think Kamala was married or anything at the time, but Willie Brown was. And Willie Brown was known to be a player like that. He was known to have several women. He'd be at a party with his wife on one arm and his girlfriend on the other arm. That's the kind of guy Willie Brown was. And that's the kind of guy that Kamala Harris was linked up with. He's the guy that got her off the ground. It's not rumor from me. It's Willie Brown saying it himself. There's photos of them all over the internet. This is not even a thing that's a secret. This is just the reality of what it is. So if you're going to vote for a Kamala Harris, do you want to vote for a person like that did some unscrupulous things to get to the top? I'm just saying, I'm not trying to defame her character. I'm just giving you the information that's out there. The man, Willie Brown, went on TV. He went on radio and has several times spoken about their affair. And it was in a kind of matter-of-fact way, not in a way to try to embarrass her. And he was just speaking recently about her possibly getting a nomination from Joe Biden. Before the nomination happened, before the selection happened by the Democratic National Convention or the party, before that happened, he was like, she shouldn't take that role because it's not really suited for her. She can do better. But apparently, Kamala didn't listen, and here we are right now today. So it is what it is. I thought it might have been somebody like Gretchen Whitmer. If it was Gretchen Whitmer, that would have been just hilarious. Hilarious. He did not have to actually get a black woman to be the VP. Not at all. Because he already done said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He said that already. So he's telling you right there that I don't care about the black vote. I know I'm going to get it. So what you going to do? That's what he's saying. So that's already out there. There was no need in doing anything else. If you're going to vote Joe Biden, you don't really care about what he says, because he said several things that are disrespectful to everybody, black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody. And on top of that, he's halfway dead. So check it out. They think that if Joe Biden was to win, which he's not going to win, he'd probably mess around and die or have to retire because of medical reasons early into his term. Matter of fact, there was an article from, I think it was CNN, that says whoever the pick is, or they may have said Kamala at the time. I think she might have been at this time nominated or selected. She's going to have to jump in 2021 and become the president. That's like, really? In 2021? It was written in a way to, it was like, if and when Joe Biden cannot proceed in his presidency, Kamala Harris is going to jump up and become the president in 2021. I think everybody with a pair of eyes can see that Joe Biden is pretty much, on his last leg, got one foot in the grave. It's pretty much a wrap for him. So they are banking on the fact that he's not going to be around anymore, and you're going to have Kamala Harris in there. Even, politics aside, Democrat, Republican aside, do you want Kamala Harris like laughing? I don't want a snickering kind of goofball in there to be the president. I want somebody that's dead serious, And if you got to troll and do some stuff to get some things done, then so be it. But don't be up there giggling and kikiing. I don't really want that in my president. I want somebody that's deadly serious. And Kamala Harris ain't that. And I want somebody that's alive and not halfway dead like Joe Biden is. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves for keeping Joe Biden out there. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. This man is not even really there. He's a ghost in the shell. He's not even present. What did somebody say in an article about him? He has, all they need from him is a corporeal presence. So all they need is his body, not even to have life in it. That's what they got right now in the Joe Biden. I cannot wait until the debates. I want to see half dead, low half dead, Creepy Joe debate Donald Trump. And I also want to see Mike Pence debate Kamala Harris. People think that Mike Pence is real laid back and calm and, the opposite of Trump, because Trump is real bombastic, in your face, super aggressive. That's what they think about Mike Pence. And he does play that role very well. But I've seen old tapes of Mike Pence when he was in Indiana as the governor, and he can go really hard, super hard in a debate, especially in front of a podium. He can go very hard. So you may see that side of him at the debate with Kamala Harris. It's going to be ugly. It might even be uglier than Trump against Joe Biden, which is going to be a bloodbath, because how hard is it to beat up a dead man? You understand? It might even be, a criminal offense. That might be a felony level 3. Go straight to Gitmo, Big Rocks, Little Rocks, beating up a dead man. That's pretty much how it would be with Trump versus Joe Biden in a debate. But the Pence-Kamala Harris debate would be just as vicious, in my humble opinion. You're talking about Mike Tyson versus a tomato can, a regular normie on the street, and then Tommy the Hitman Hagler versus a regular normie on the street. I'm talking stomped into wine, stomped into dust, stomped into tomorrow. It's going to be a shame. But it is what it is. Thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that as well. And click the bell that's right there. If you click that bell, you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. So I'll move on to my next thing here. What I want to talk about, hold on, let me just find my place. Oh, Chicago got looted for reparations. Now, this is crazy, but nothing to really be, nothing to be surprised about. Now, we all know that Chicago got looted again by Black Lives Matter just a couple of days ago, right? And I think it was on the Magnificent Mile. They said about 200 stores were damaged by looting, or just looted in general. Like, some of them may have been just damaged and not necessarily looted, but most of them were looted in some kind of way or damaged. Anyway, 200 stores, right? And it was a really big thing. It was crazy. You know, the mayor's upset now for some reason. I don't know why she's upset now, because you've been had all this BLM activity happening. Now you want somebody to do something. You should have been doing something a long time ago. But anyway, so she's upset, and they're trying to do something to stop all the looting. And this lady, young girl actually from BLM, got on TV and said, hey, you know what? So what if they loot a Louis Vuitton, a Nike, a Gucci, or whatever? They got insurance. They'll get it back. And then she was like, it's reparations. So it's fine. It's like, reparations, really? So smashing up a business because you want to get some money is reparations. And then she was saying, oh, we got to eat. Which means you got to eat. When you go to the hood where they say they want reparations, I don't see a lot of very slender people that are really in shape that don't eat a lot. I'm seeing a lot of overeating in these areas. So reparations and they got to eat, I don't really understand how that makes any sense. I'm hearing excuses for all the looting. Ain't no need to loot. You're just being a thief. And nobody likes thieves unless you're a thief yourself. Okay? Unless you just want to partake in the spoils of a thief, nobody likes thieves. All right. So it was just really strange to say, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. That's the kind of mentality. That's the entitlement mentality. This belongs to me because I was wronged. I mean, when you say I was wronged, who is I? Who are you referring to when you say I? I'm not, Albert Einstein, but I was taught as a kid that I was in reference to yourself. If you say the word I, you're referring to you, to yourself. I went to the store. That means whoever is speaking, whoever is saying it, went to the store. Very simple. How were you wronged? What are you talking about? Slavery? Nobody alive today was a slave here in the USA. You could have been a slave at some point in 2020 if you came from Africa recently. Like, if you got rescued from a slave camp in Libya like yesterday, then yeah, you were a slave. But what does that got to do with America? You're talking about West Africa and then Libya. West African government, maybe they shipped you up there. I don't know. But probably it was just Libya or the slave traders in Libya that got you in a situation to begin with. Okay? So don't blame the United States. Every country on planet Earth had slavery. So if you're going to go down the whole rabbit hole of reparations, then everybody's got to pay. Everybody, the Africans, the Europeans, the Arabs, the entire world. What's the point? You've had periods of conquest. You've had periods of peace, periods of war, and we've been able to get through them. We've been able to get to them if they're a good point in time. And it's just kind of a cycle. We've had good times, we had bad times. It's just the nature of life, of humanity. You can't just hold on to a grudge from a prior bad time, okay? And at the time, slavery was not even abnormal, it was a norm. And really, you still got slavery going on right now today in parts of the third world, maybe even parts of the first world. But right here in the U.S. of A, we don't have that. Unless you want to count being in the penitentiary, but try not robbing somebody with a pistol and beating them in the head with it. You won't get sent to the penitentiary. How about that? That might make sense, but I digress. My whole point is that reparations is kind of just an empty thing. And if you are going to get it, then get it legally. Don't just go and smash and grab talking about, oh, they got insurance. I mean, that's the most ignorant thing. Insurance does not work like that. You can't just go take whatever you want every day and have insurance cover it. If that was the case, then why even sell anything? You should just have it stolen every day and you still get paid. That's just simply not how these things work. And what's going to end up happening is these companies will just move out and say, you know what? I'm tired of getting my store looted every single day. I'm tired of the general lawlessness happening outside my store and the unsafe environment for my employees. I'm going to pack up and leave or shut down. I'm going to sell my store, go golfing and fishing, live off the interest in the bank. That's pretty much how they're going to carry it. And then people that work there, people that live in the community, that don't have a whole lot of money, now that job is gone. So what are they going to do? You didn't kill the tax base. You didn't kill jobs, all because what? You wanted a pair of shoes, huh? You wanted a thing you're going to probably sell on eBay and then smoke it up tomorrow. A lot of drug addicts smoking weed all day. You know, $1,000 a day weed habit you are subsidizing by stealing. Reparations doesn't make any sense at all, but it is what it is. So yeah, shout out to all the looters, all the miscreants out there. I don't want to hear any kind of justification for your action. You're out there stealing because you want to steal. You're a thief. And nobody likes thieves except for other thieves, except for other criminals. And most of us, most people in general are not criminals. Okay, it is what it is. But again, thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you guys. If your comment got grayed out, it's not my fault. I don't know what happened. You know, sometimes YouTube and or Google itself does some things that I have no control over. So I don't know what's going on. All right. But let's see what else we got going on. Oh, shout out to Carmen Best, the now former police chief of Seattle Police Department. She went ahead and quit because the city got defunded as far as the police are concerned. And I'm glad she stood up for something. I'm glad she did that. She had been there for a very long time as an officer, 28 years as an officer. And she was a chief for the past 2 years, almost to the day, 2 years as a Seattle PD chief. Now, it was a rumor out there that she quit because her salary got cut by $100,000. That's not true. Her salary did get cut and the announced cuts from the city council, but only by 6%. So she still made $275, but she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and retire right now. Taking a big pay cut, if you made $275 and you retire, you're not gonna get $275. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But she took a big pay cut and was like, you know what? I'm out because my officers, they are not being supported. The city is not safe. This is not a good thing. She was a vocal opponent of defunding the police, vocal opponent of that. But her cries just kind of went unheard. And it's very unfortunate because people should hear Carmen Best and what she was talking about as far as policing is concerned. All right. And a place like Seattle, or Freattle as I call it, you don't need less police. You need really more police, or you need funds directed in a better way within the police, not actually defunding or taking funds away. You need to give them more tools to be able to fight crime out there and give them some help as well. Give them the federals if they need the federals, you know, bring them in and get some of this stuff knocked on down. Okay. Get that stuff knocked on down. Same thing going on right now in Portland, Oregon. You got riots happening every single night. All over the left coast, you got all kind of just political action, political riots happening. But Seattle is a shame. Now, as part of the cuts, they're going to cut 100 officers. So some say, oh, well, ABL is going to be a money cut, but they won't cut the officers. Yes, it's going to be. Anytime you cut money from the force, you're going to cut officers. If you know about business at all, the most expensive thing in any business, for the most part, is payroll. Okay? It's your payroll. That's going to be the most expensive thing. And if you cutting money to the tune of millions of dollars from a budget, you're going to cut payroll as a way to save that money because you don't have it anymore. You can't spend it. So you're going to cut payroll first. They're going to cut like 100 officers. There was a particular unit to break up the so-called homeless encampments, which ain't nothing but drug dens, really. It was a unit for those. That's gone now. So thank the city council in Seattle for letting your local heroin hut, your meth mound continue to flourish. That's what's going on in these so-called homeless encampments. If you see a homeless encampment with filth everywhere, that's 1000% drugs. It is drugs. The regular homeless guy down on his luck does not live in total and complete filth like that. Drug addicts do. And they're very dangerous as well. You're seeing what's happening with the lack of policing in certain places because, they're not wanted there. They're being defunded. You're going to have crime rise. All right. And when you have mentally ill people on drugs with no police, that's just a bad combination and you're going to have more crime. So they don't have the homeless encampment force, 100 less officers. It's just going to be more crime. That's going to be the end result. And we saw a preview of what Seattle could be with Chaz Chop. That little snapshot, the 2-month snapshot, is what Seattle could be without the police. All right. What you had, like 2 shootings, 2 fatal shootings and more non-fatal. You had drugs, rape, everything in there. They said it was the most dangerous place on earth. If it was his own, his own city or country, it'd be the most dangerous on earth. So imagine having the Chaz Chop policies expand to the whole Seattle or to the whole left coast. You would have sheer pandemonium. So I'm glad that Carmen Best went ahead and quit or retired, as the Seattle police chief. Maybe we should go somewhere else and become the chief there, like David Brown did. David Brown, the current superintendent of police in Chicago, was the Dallas police chief during the whole Michael Xavier Johnson thing when he killed those officers. Remember the whole thing? He was talking about Black Lives Matter. He hates white people, hates cops. He went out there and killed, I think, 4 or 5 officers that appeared to be white to him. And I think they're mostly Hispanic, but he sees light skin, so he went ahead and shot him. That's happening right now with the current BLM rhetoric. And it's crazy how the BLM rhetoric was so pervasive back in 2016. It was everywhere. The same things that are going on right now were happening back then. To a lesser degree back then, maybe, but it was the same things going on. Defund the police reform. It was the same thing happening. Here we are again in 2020 with with a resurgence of it. It's interesting how they were gone for so long. Now they're back all of a sudden. It's weird. Is it because it's an election year? Probably so. And I feel like after the election is over with and you get Trump reelected, they'll pretty much go away. The same way they did in 2016. Maybe it won't be immediate, but it'll be soon enough. They'll pretty much just vanish off into the sunset because they're not needed anymore. The budget's run dry. They tried to get Biden in office and it didn't really work out. So we'll see what's happening for sure. All right. And then what else we got going on? Oh, yeah. Very sad story of Cannon Hinnant. Now, Cannon Hinnant was a 5-year-old boy who was white, and race is important in a minute. I'll talk about that. 5-year-old boy who was white that was shot and killed by his next door neighbor, a 25-year-old by the name of, what's his name? Darren Sessoms, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I got his name right. Sessoms. Darius Sessoms. His name is not really important, but I want to make sure I'm right. So Darius Sessoms shot and killed this little boy, 5 years old, and he's black. Now, did the mainstream media cover this? I'm going to look for it right now, just as live as we doing it, and I'm going to see what results I find. I see local TV, KMOV, KWTX, WBTV, New York Post got it, which is a conservative outlet that's in the same building as Fox News. Facebook, Fox News got it, which is again the same thing. Daily Mail, which is a UK website. Where is CBS, ABC, CNN, Washington Post, Huffington Post? I'm not really seeing it. Very interesting how that works. Now, if the races were reversed, you already know what the outcome would be. If the little boy that was shot and killed were black and the man that killed him were white, then it'd be everywhere. That's all you would hear about. they would say he was influenced by Trump and all kind of just stupid stuff. The reality of the situation is that it's tragic. A little boy died, may he rest in peace, but it's not being covered by the media because this is not fit their narrative. And really, honestly, you could cover things like this all the time if you wanted to, where an adult black male kills a white child. You can cover that a lot, but it doesn't really fit the narrative too much. You know, that's not even really it. They're talking about Kamala Harris and the virus, but not this particular story here. It's really sad, but it's confusing to me because the shooter knew the boy and his family. They were next door neighbors, lived on the same street for a long time, pretty much the guy's whole life. The shooter, that is, lived there his whole life. He was 25. His mom or his dad has been right there on that same street for 28 years. And he knew the neighbors. He had dinner with them like on Friday. He was at his house on Saturday, and then Sunday, for some reason, he shot a little boy in his head, point blank range, at 5:30 p.m., broad daylight. His siblings were there. The little boy's siblings were right there, and then the father was not very far away. Now, I have no idea what happened. What I will say is that the guy, Darius Sessoms, had been locked up before, and I think it was for running a drug house, and I think he might have had a gun in the drug house. Now, I don't know if there was any kind of drugs going on between him and the father or what. I have no idea. That's not been said at all. I don't even know. I think we'll find out more about this as the days and weeks progress. But what I do know is that right now is being totally ignored when it should not be totally ignored. But that tells you right there of the bias of the left lamestream media. That tells you right there what's going on. There's no need for me to actually even really expound on it because you already know what time it is. Okay, but I just hope that we get some more information about this so we can figure out what's going on. And so it's not just, just out there. I did an article. I wrote an article about it, and I put that. It's on my website, and there's a link to a GoFundMe just for him, not for me, but for him. I think it was set up by his mother or somebody or a family member. They set it up, and I saw it like on an official website, like on a local news website. So that's pretty much how I vetted it. But it's up there if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, very sad. 5 years old, may he rest in peace. But we know what the situation would be. I mean, you would have BLM going to an uproar. It'd be riots and protests all over the place. And these riots actually are they helping their cause? I think that they are successful as far as getting some things done, but ultimately they won't be happy with it. They won't like what they actually get as a result of all the protests and riots going their way. They're not going to appreciate the world that they have. Okay, they think on paper that things are all good, it's going to be great, but the reality is going to be different. Reality is going to bite them square in the hind parts if they get everything they're asking for through all these BLM riots and protests and whatnot. But they're not going to be out there for this particular situation. Okay, not at all. Somebody says, what is a black American? A black person who was an American. I mean, I suppose the best way I could come up with it. It is what it is. Yeah, it's going to be crazy, Minneapolis Maven. Anybody involved, anybody who was there will never be the same again. The siblings were little kids, I think, 7 and 8. They're going to need perpetual counseling. The father, I mean, I can imagine what he's going through. He needed the same thing because the little boy would basically die in his arms. It was crazy. Yep. So rest in peace to Cannon Hinnant. And I don't think you will see too much more about that on the mainstream media. But, that's part of what I do right here is cover stories that don't really get covered. Like I covered David Dorn. The media didn't want to talk about that too much because it didn't fit the narrative at all. Same thing with Italia Kelly, Patrick Underwood. A lot of people just kind of get their stories ignored because it doesn't fit the narrative. And I feel like that's not right. It's just not really the right thing to do. So thank y'all. A lot of you guys sent me that story. Thank y'all for sending me the story. And this is going to be like the future of the way things are done as far as getting information out there. We can go straight to the internet and we can do our research. We can see what's right, what's wrong, make sure we're factual, and then put it out ourselves rather than relying upon the mainstream media. There have been sometimes I'll see a humongous story that it get, a tremendous response from all over the internet that's not touched by the mainstream media. And I'm talking about a story that's legitimate, has sources, has been vetted, and it gets totally ignored by the mainstream media. So you just got to ask yourself why. Oh, also, while I'm talking about the media, Sumner Redstone died. Sumner Redstone, 97 years old, was the CEO or the guy that was behind Viacom, which is now Viacom CBS. So you're talking about a powerful media like magnate. I think his kids right now are running the whole situation, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Or maybe his grandkids, because 97 years old, his kids probably about in the 70s themselves. They're probably Joe Biden's age. But anyway, it's probably just run by his family at this particular point in time. So yeah, he died. He's like a guy that's up there as far as maybe a George Soros as far as influence and age, you know. But that's a whole different story. I could talk about Murray Rothstein. I know all the story. I've really got into the whole thing with Viacom and what they do. I know all about that. That might be a whole different topic in itself. But yeah, he died today, 97 years old. I thought he had been gone, honestly, because 97 years old, that's a long time to live. You know, I thought he was gone already, but no, he died today. So that happened today. That was some news. And then what else we got going on here? Oh, if you guys see the black officer in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, I think it was in Wauwatosa. That's right. Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, who was harassed at his house by Black Lives Matter protesters. So just to give you a little bit of, just to kind of zoom out and give you how it looks, you have a black male police officer at his house with his girlfriend, his kids there, getting punched in the face, shot at, harassed in general, and stalked by Black Lives Matter, which consists of mostly white people. So you may have a white guy punch a man in the face, shoot at him, and then at the same time scream Black Lives Matter. Does it make sense to you? If you're shooting at me and I'm black, how are you going to tell me that Black Lives Matter? Apparently, you're lying right in front of my face, okay? Now, the reason why they came to his house is because he was involved in 3 fatal shootings in, I think, 5 years. Yeah, now, 2 of the shootings were ruled justified, and it was justifiable homicide through self-defense. So there was no problem there. There was no disciplinary action or whatever. Now, the most recent shooting was probably the same thing, but you got all these protests going on, so they suspended him with pay while there was an investigation going on. And he's been suspended since February of this year. We're into August now. Is he going to get his job back? Who knows? I think he's getting paid still from his job. Maybe he isn't. But they are trying to get him to resign from that police force and go somewhere else. I think the mayor of Wauwatosa came out and said, or it might have been somebody in, the union or somebody says, we'd like for him to transition from employment at Wauwatosa Police Department. So it's like they don't want him to work there anymore. They're not saying he did anything. They're not trying to lock him up, but they wanted to keep him suspended and keep him out of the force and just make him go force him out because of all the heat they're getting on their back due to the protesting. So you're literally caving to the mob by trying to get this man out of the way, trying to get him out of his particular seat. I think he's suing the city of Wauwatosa just to get his job back and wrongful termination and everything like that. They're trying to make him quit without firing him. And I think if they were to fire him, then that'd be a big time lawsuit right there because he didn't do anything. If he did something, then they should be able to say that he did something. Okay, you've had since February to come up with a solution, but there probably won't be a solution because they want him just to be out of the way. They don't really want to keep him on board. But it's crazy. They came to this man's house or wherever he was staying at the time. They came there. They were like 60 or so people out there, 60 deep. They yelling at him, TP in the house, and somebody had a shotgun and shot at him through the door. I think they said they shot several times. Maybe it was just a shotgun. Maybe other guns were involved as well. He tried to go out there before they started shooting and talk to him, have a dialogue. Then he gets punched right in his mouth. So it's weird. Who gave up the address? I have no idea. The address could have been leaked. They could have followed him. They could have done anything. They could have asked the people in the area. I don't even really know what's going on. Yes, his name. Thank you, Winston. The officer's name that was being harassed is Joseph Mensah. So shout out to him for, not reacting in a really, how can I say, in a equal but potentially dangerous and deadly way. Because if they're shooting at you, I mean, why not get the next shot? Why not? You could technically, if they come to your house, they're trying to break in, they're shooting through your door. I mean, what is that? I don't know what the laws are in Wisconsin, but where I'm at, that's called castle doctrine all day long. All day. You shoot through my door, oh, it's a wrap. Now I got the green light. You done pretty much gave me the permission slip right there. You done signed it. I gave it to my teacher. We going to the field trip, baby. You understand? We going to AK Highway. You feel me? So he could have done something right there, but he didn't do it. I'm just glad that he's alive, though, because that could have ended very badly if he didn't defend himself and they come in there and try to do something crazy. Okay, but it is what it is. I saw that about Kamala Harris's father calling her a fake. Yeah, Kamala Harris will tell a lie. Don't get that twisted, because remember during the debates, or sometimes she's talking about, oh, I'll listen to Snoop Dogg in college smoking weed. Like, Snoop Dogg in college, you're not that young to listen to Snoop in college, okay? You were in college in the 80s. Snoop was in the 90s when he came out, so you're like a decade too early trying to listen to Snoop and smoking weed. But I guess it's fine for you to smoke weed, but it's not fine for those that were in California, we the attorney general. You know, if you're going to smoke weed and that's fine, why not the residents of California? You know, she was against legalizing marijuana when she was attorney general in California, but now she's for it. You know, they flip-flop like it's nothing. Whatever's going on that's popular at the time on the left, they pretty much rock with it. You know, Kamala Harris, it was popular for her to come out there and almost, essentially, basically call Joe Biden a racist. But now, she'll do no such thing because it's going to mess up her chances of becoming the vice president of the United States. People celebrating. You know, you got the little sorority. You got the girls and her sorors and a sorority talking about ski weed. It's like, man, anybody trying to hear that little squeal noise. She won't do a thing when she's in the presidency as a vice president, or really as a president, because Joe Biden's pretty much got one more life to live, and it's coming to an end very soon. So, did Snoop call her a bit? We ain't talking about Kamala Harris. Oh yeah, Kamala Harris. Like I said, it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really matter to me that Kamala Harris is married to the white man, but some do really care about that, on the left especially. Oh, you married to the white man, you a coon. That's going to be happening. And she has 2 stepkids that are both white, obviously. And the funny part is that her stepkids are named after black people, Ella Fitzgerald and I think John Coltrane, which is it's interesting to say the least, but it is what it is. So yeah, she does not have kids of her own, which is pretty interesting. She is married, but no kids of her own. She has 2 stepkids. Now, when did she get married? Did she get married like late in life? I'm not really sure. Maybe she was too busy, you know, trying to climb that career ladder, you know, dealing with Willie Brown and stuff like that, just trying to work her way to the top in very creative ways, as the cool kids would say. So yeah, thank y'all for joining. You guys are fantastic. You are the best audience on the internet. We got a whole lot going on all over the world. It's so much happening. It's crazy. Okay. Super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls. Let's read first super chat right here. Shout out to Ryan Noor, big super chat, big baller, who says, get woke, go broke. Has anybody seen the NBA's ratings? I'm sorry, but I watch sports for sports, not for a guy named I Can't Breathe, passing to another man named Hands Up, Don't Shoot. ABL, much love, man. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. And you know what? I'm a humongous basketball fan. I love basketball. My team is the Bucks. Not because of Giannis, but I've been the Bucks fan since Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Glenn Robinson, Tim Thomas, the whole squad. I've been the Bucks fan for a minute. So it's unfortunate that I can't really watch basketball because of all the stuff going on. I enjoy seeing some clips of it. I can tolerate some clips. I enjoyed seeing Giannis headbutt that guy. What's his name? Wagner. I enjoyed that headbutt. That was really satisfying. But I can't really watch the games. I might watch the big game, but I just hope that they just erase that Black Lives Matter crap for just one game. Just erase it for me, please. I don't really care about politics when it comes to NBA basketball. I don't want it there. I enjoy politics, of course. I live it, I eat it, I breathe it, I sleep it. However, Can I get a break for a minute? Can I get just a little bit of a reprieve from all the politics talk when I'm watching the sports game? All I want to do is just have fun and enjoy the game. That's it. I'm a simple guy. All I want is for the ability to enjoy the game, and that's it. All right. But thank y'all again for joining. And thanks for tea. Got tea on deck. Yeah. All right. Now let's get to the next one. Thank you to Interracial Patriots, who says, ABL, not sure what your short-term goals are, but we are certainly hoping that you are planning on political position. If so, you have our financial support. We appreciate you. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for that. Most certainly do. I get asked the question about trying to become a politician every day. And you know what? The funniest part is that I was asked that long before YouTube by my family members. I was asked that probably about, 10, 15 years ago by one of my family members. They saw me in the mall when I was in West Virginia. And she was like, did you win? I'm like, did I win what? Oh, we trying to become the mayor in Virginia? I was like, nah, I was helping a friend of mine with some graphic design. And she was like, well, you could do it. Run city council. Like, she was telling me the whole playbook on how to go ahead and run and win a long time ago. So I may do that. It might be my calling. And I feel like there are certain things I have no control over in my life. I had no idea I'd be able to become a YouTuber and become successful. I had no clue. But it was a calling. I had no real control over it. It was something that had to happen. I had all the skills needed. It was just something that was just laid right there. Maybe that's divine intervention. All right. So shout out to, let me see, Josh Johansson for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to Ryan Noor, who also says, I just had a long convo with a black man from Oakland that has been a family friend for a long time. He could not hear any of my points. He also did not believe me that more white men were killed by police than black men. Still love the man that blame the media. That's what it is. I mean, it's hard to convince a person of a thing that's true when they've been taught the wrong thing being true for a very long time. It's very hard to do that. I'm teaching the old dog new tricks. Basically, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle basically with that one. Shout out to Christina Richardson, who says, love you, ABL. Don't forget how her father, talking about Kamala Harris now, detailed their family's slave ownership. Oh, yeah. I may do a video on that. Thank you for that. Her father's family owned slaves in Jamaica. How about that? So not only is she not really black for real, if you're going to be honest, her family in Jamaica, where the black side comes from, owned slaves. How about that? But I'll continue. Any thoughts? Oh, and what's up with her Senate seat? California Governor Newsom can just appoint whoever he wants, no vote. If they were to vote right now, trust me, that seat would turn Republican. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100% correct. All right. So, I got more super chats right here. I'm going to read right quick. Let me just start from the beginning. Let me just refresh right fast. And thank y'all again for being here. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And this show will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whatever that is. That could be Spotify, Anchor, Google Play, Apple, what's that? Apple iTunes. I don't know. Oh, the Apple Store. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm talking about. Apple, the iPhone app that has the podcast. It's on there. But what else we got? Okay. Let me see. Shout out to Poofy, who says, need a new Trumpian nickname for Kamala. Phony Harris doesn't have that ring to it, right? I like Phony Harris. That's kind of actually a little funny. I don't know about another one. But yeah. Shout out to you for donating. Thank you for that. Thank you to C. Denise for becoming an ABL superstar for the upgrade. I thank you for that. Thank you to Zachary Titchen, who says should make a documentary on lefties who left the Democrats. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of information out there, a lot of kind of like, that's like the walk away movement, basically. They're all putting their stuff out there. Somebody should compile that into a documentary or make a cohesive one out of it where they all come together and talk about what's going on, for sure. All right. Shout out to, let me see, This Week of Civil War History, who says, do you think Harris rubbed Biden's leg hair to get voted for president? Hey, you never know what's going on with somebody like Kamala Harris. You have no idea. Never know. Shout out to Scott Henderson, who says Creepy Joe and Horrible Harris. I like Horrible Harris. That's a good one. Shout out to Retro Gamer 81 who says, did you see the Biden Harris rally? He said she was part of the family. I guess she's forgiven for calling him a racist and believing his victims. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that one because remember, you had all these women coming out talking about Joe Biden touched me, harassed me, and also the videos of the touching and harassing. Let's not forget about that. The little kids and everything. Now, when she was confronted with that, she says, I believe those that say that Joe Biden harassed them, but now that's not the case anymore. Very interesting how that works. Shout out to Blob Monster, great name for the donation. Thank you to Apu Bakar, Al Puff Daddy, who says, hey ABL, is it racist to have movies where the white hero stomps the black villain's faces into wine? You guys are funny hearing my little sayings and whatnot, like Steven Seagal versus Jamaican Posse, or James Bond versus Voodoo Cult, or Preppy Teens versus Scary Ma. Not at all. Hey, it is what it is. You know, if it's not racist to have MMA where it happens in real life, you might see John Bone Jones stomp some white UFC fighter into wine on the mat, and it's fine. You know, it's not racist. Thank you to Two-Way Freedom, where we go one, we go all, who says, I appreciate the work you do and your deep detail analysis. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Will Redding, who says, I said it months ago, Biden Harris, pay up suckers. Hey, you called it. Thank you for that. Thank you to Retro Gamer 81, who says, did you see where they're paving over the defund of police road graffiti in DC? Keeping the BLM part, though. Oh, of course. Yeah, not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. Thank you to Right Unicorn, who says, thoughts on Portland dropping all rioting charges and also no longer charging for rioting. What is that DA thinking? I saw that. I may do a video on that too. Now, the guy was trying to explain it, talking about, oh, well, if you just happen to be out there when the riots are happening and you get caught up and you get arrested, we're not going to prosecute you. It's like, excuse me? If you're out there during a riot, guess what? You're rioting. If you don't want to be out there during a riot, go home. Go home. All right? That's like saying, hey, you know what? I was in the house when they were home invading it, and they were tying their grandmama up and beating her in the head with the pistol. But you know what? I wasn't really a part of it. Let me get off. No way, Jose. If you're there during any kind of crime like that, you're going to get more as well. Big rocks, little rocks. It is what it is. Don't cry about it now because you should have known better than to put yourself in a situation to begin with. You should have just stayed home rather than getting into the robbery car to begin with. It's simple. Shout out to Apu Bakar, All Puff Daddy, who says, hey, ABL, journalist Daniel Greenfield said last year that Kamala Harris exploited the African-American experience to gain votes. Agree or disagree? I mean, I agree to a certain extent. I think that she probably identified as being in between both worlds as a kid because she went to a black college and when she was younger, but at the same time, well, I'll say this. She will identify as whatever is needed to fit a particular, to reach a goal, basically. So when she go to college, I'm black, I'm blackity black. But when I come to the Senate, I'm Indian. I'm an Indian American, red dot. So whenever she's needed to identify as a particular thing, she'll do that. That's pretty much how that goes. All right, shout out to Jericho Green, my man, Jericho Green, who says, that was a weak pick. One of them is an old man and the other one loves old men. Perfect. Hey, thank you to my man, Jericho Green, for the donation. If you guys are not subscribed to Jericho Green yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. You're missing out on an excellent channel. Go ahead and subscribe to my man, Jericho Green, right now. All right, shout out to Sisphius Wins. I know I'm butchering her name, and I'm sorry. It's not my fault playing the white man. But anyway, they said, I was driving home past the Louis Vuitton store in Chicago, and it was boarded up and painted over black. Looks like they're done with this idiotic city. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Just move on out. What's the point of being there? What's the point of being there when you get looted every night? It makes no sense. Just go ahead and bounce. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Naj Sabiro, who says, pandering at its finest, what the Democrats do best. There you go. 1,000%. Thank you to JDP, who says, ABL, keep up the good work. Will do. Shout out to, let me see, Craig White for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to This Week in Civil War History, who says, I thought it was P. Diddy now, not Puff Daddy. Well, I always call him Puff. because I remember back when he was just Puff, because I'll be 36 in September. I remember when he came out with Bad Boy, and when Big came out, I was like around during that particular thing, and he was Puff. So I never switched to the P Diddy thing. I remember when he changed it to P. I'm like, man, I'm not calling you P Diddy. I'm calling you Puff from here on, forevermore. I'm gonna call you Puff. So that's his name to me. Shout out to Apu Bakar, our Puff Daddy, who says, hey, ABL, will the black community vote Democrat because of VP nominee Kamala Harris? Why or why not? You know what's funny about that is that a lot of people don't want to vote for Kamala because of other reasons. Like, okay, people didn't like Ben Carson or Herman Cain in the black community. I'm going to say nobody did, but a lot of us didn't because they're conservative. They see Kamala Harris as a police officer, number one, and also as a person that's not black and also not ADOS. That's an American descendant of slaves. Her father is Jamaican. Her mother is Indian. Therefore, she's not black or African American. That's going to be a problem. You got some really big influencers in the black community like Yvette Carnell that would come out and say, she's not black. She's not one of us. Vote at your own risk. So that might be kind of complicated. Actually, I'll be really keying in on how they finagle that whole thing, during the campaign. Shout out to Matthew Richardson, who says, scientifically speaking, Kamala Harris is a Caucasian. Well, there you have it. Thank you to Vamos Kramer, who says, what are you even doing? Thank you to Miriam Vidal, who says, so that's who Biden was referring to when he said you ain't black. There you go. Perfect. Thank you to Candace W for your donation with the cat smiling. Thank you to Owen Leaning, who says, there's no such thing as a moderate anymore. It's either you want America to stand or you want to fall. What do you think? I'm pretty much right there with you, man. I mean, on the left especially, and the more moderates on the left, if you are political at all on the left and not a regular normie that's just kind of, voting randomly every 4 years, you're pretty much on the far left. And people like AOC and the Squad, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, they're leading their party all the way far to the left. That's what's happening right now. Shout out to Leo Mazzino, who says, that lady sounded like AOC about stealing. You talking about that the BLM lady in Chicago? Yep, talking about, they're trying to get bread. Come on, bread, really? This is not the Great Depression. I mean, what are we even talking about? Shout out to Sick Baby Seals, who says, keep up the great work, ABL. Great to see 4,000 plus viewers watching your hard work. Hey, I can't do nothing but thank y'all. I couldn't do it without you. Shout out to Cyrus Cherry, who says, what do you think of black Americans choosing to move to Ghana? Why try to help our people when they won't listen? I don't understand that whole thing. Moving to Ghana for what? What are you really what you going to do in Ghana that you can't do here? I don't understand. Are you going to escape the white man? Guess what? You got the Chinaman over there. You got the Chinaman, the tribal man, and the white man in Ghana. What are you even doing? I don't get it. Shout out to Theo Frastis, who says, Kamala is reading up on dementia and senility, getting ready to throw Biden under the bus and take over. Yeah, that's going to happen. If they were to win, which ain't going to happen, but if they were to win, Biden would not last 1 year. That's big facts. Thank you to Magnus Vero 80 for the thumbs up emoji. And the funny part about that is people did not support Kamala Harris in the primary. So if you didn't want her then, why would you want her now? I don't understand. Shout out to Rat64, who says, you're awesome, ABL. Thanks for giving us a voice. And thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to YouTube user 533 for the mic emoji. Thank you to Sherlock Hemlock, who says, thank you for your great analysis and clear explanations. ABL, we appreciate you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you as well. Thank you to Bobby B, who says, Eric B, Biden, Harris, and Antifa. Blacks are not for Biden. Keep dreaming, bud. There you go. Thank you to San Francisco Live, who says, a black American equals ADOS. I said that earlier. American descendant of slaves. ADOS, ADOS. Thank you to Dumpster Fire, who says, the media is completely ignoring the protest against child sex trafficking. The march last week at a CNN building, Save Our Children, hashtag Save Our Children. There you go. Thank you to the lowly one, who says, shout out to ABL. I'm done with sports after this. I feel you. And you know what? It's hard to say it because I love sports. I really do. But when they just put so much politics in it, you're forcing my hand. You're forcing me to just make a decision, to just get inundated with the left politics all the time, or just not watch sports. And I gotta pick not watching sports. Thank you to Tigrix, TIGRX, who says, ABL, I'm a naturalized Arab. I have so much respect for you. Why don't you run for Congress? The time for honest and brave leaders has come. Vote GOP. I think I will do that because that's a question I get all the time. In my regular everyday life, I'm talking about everywhere I go. I get that. Thank you to Matthew Phillips, who says, hey, ABL, awesome live stream. What's your opinion about Black History Month or the push for more Black history in schools and universities? The month, I don't even really care about the month, really, because it's not even really celebrated for real. Not even in the Black community, honestly. It's kind of a Twitter thing at this particular point in time, in my humble opinion. And as far as more Black history, well, what are they going to teach? As long as they don't start getting into stuff like, Marcus Garvey or Clarence 13X or somebody like that, as long as they don't go down that road and get into the weirdo stuff, I'm not sure what they're going to teach. That'll be my question. What are you going to teach aside from, slavery, MLK, Africa, Harlem Renaissance? What are you going to teach? I don't really know. Thank you to, let me see, Michelle Therese, who says, great commentary. ABO, thank you for your donation and your very kind words. I certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Tigrix, who says, how about Nutty Joe and Flip Flop Kamala? Good nicknames. Shout out to Reveresco Animo, who says, just joined the stream. Kamala in finish for horrible. Hashtag horrible Harris. I like that. Horrible Harris is a good one. That might be what we actually go with. Horrible Harris. Thank you to Christopher Brogan, who says, nickname Chameleon Harris. That's a good one as well. Thank you to Jaja, who says, hi, ABL. Do you know the stats of how many people Harris put in jail for smoking dope and how many of them were Black? Meme-worthy info, in my opinion. I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure you guys do in the chat, or somebody does. I know it's quite a bit of people that she put in the penitentiary or at least behind bars in general for smoking weed. Thank you to Brian Barton for the donation, who says it's called being race fluid. Thank you to Michelle Roberts, who says, thank you, ABL, for your videos. And thank you to Ryan Walker, who says, ABL for Chief of Police in Free Out of Washington. Thank you to Drew Bar 100, who says, if Biden somehow won, he stepped down and Kamala will be president. Such a scary thought. Exactly. Thank you to Matthew Phillips, who says, Kamala, quote unquote, not Black, Harris wasn't a favorite candidate. Goes to show you don't need to be liked by the people or establishment to be VP. Exactly. She was not liked. She did not do well in the primary at all. People were kind of confused. Like, okay, we got a Black woman in the race. We put her out in front of the cameras for like 2 years in the Senate. Why didn't it work? Why she have no support? Why is the old white man getting more votes from the Black community than the 55-year-old kind of Black woman? What's going on? Kind of hard to tell. Thank you to C. Denise, who says, I think maybe they chose Kamala because she's clearly a sellout, willing to be whatever she needs to be to get ahead. Other options were actually strong-minded women. Both she and Biden will just be puppets. Oh, very good point, because Susan Rice, the hatchet lady, will not be just laying down, doing whatever you wanted to do. Biden is basically halfway dead, and Kamala Harris will do whatever. And we know that from earlier in her career. I'll just leave that right there. I won't get too deep into it, but let's go ahead and get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internet, so I couldn't ask for a better group of guys and girls than y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Hooker Harris? No, y'all are crazy. I didn't say that. I was just reading. I wasn't saying it for real. I was just reading. Okay. Let me go ahead and get my ringer and everything turned off so you guys can hear clearly. And let's see, make sure I got all my audio and video together. Okay, that's good. Let's get to the sound settings. And let's see. Okay, and there we go. Ringer off. Let's go ahead and get to the calls. All right. All right, Jordan, what's happening?
Hey, ABL, what up?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Hey, the funny thing about the whole Kamala Harris thing is there's a pro wrestler named Kamala. His real name is James Harris. He died a couple days ago.
Oh, I saw that. So his last name was Harris.
His last name was Harris, his real last name.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But about Chicago, you do know why Chicago is the way it is right now with the whole justice system. It's because of a particular woman. I think we've said her name before on the show, called Kim Fox.
Yeah.
What they found out was that I think she released throughout her career they dismissed the charges of around at least 25,000 people, some of them with violent offenses like murder and shooting and sexual assault. That's like 35% higher than her predecessor. So if you're seeing these spikes in crimes and the lack of the justice system to do its job, she's a big part of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like that was the whole thing with Juicy Smouye, right? She didn't want to go forward with it. Yeah, so.
But about Kamala Harris, when it came to the sexual assault allegations against Biden, all the inappropriate touching he's been doing and the Tara Reade thing, she straight up said, Kamala straight up said, I believe all of them. And now she's on like Stephen Colbert saying, it was all a debate. And she's just happy to hug Joe Biden and accept being his VP.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy. That was really wild. And I feel like that was kind of a rehearsed response because that's all she said. It was a debate. And it's like, okay, you want to expound on that? You want to just kind of go through it a little bit? Because if you ask me a question, I'll be able to answer you in a pretty clear way and give you reasons why I feel the way I feel. It's a debate, and just kind of laughed it off like it was nothing.
Yeah, but she really seems like an opportunist and trying to say anything she wants to get elected. And if you saw Sean King on Twitter, he absolutely felt on himself, because back in 2018 he would say he would 99% sure he would never support people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And now he's sitting here saying, "Oh well, Kamala Harris is a changed woman. She's for social justice or criminal justice. She's a black woman. She's from an HBCU. She's a changed woman." And I'm like, no. Of course she's a changed woman. She's running for election. I mean, what? Of course she's gonna say that stuff.
The funny part is that I don't see why anybody would be surprised at a guy like Sean King doing something like that. Flip-flopping, just lying and stuff. I mean, look at this guy. He's pretending to be black. He has on the Clark Kent costume. It's like, sir, I can see that's you, man. That's Superman right there. I can see that's you. Like, you have on a little T.I., little mustache and a little goatee with some glasses. That's not fooling me at all, sir. I know white man when I see it. You're not black.
Yeah, he just spells fraud with the things he says and does. It gives me the creeps, man. Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna bail. I'll be in chat and I'll talk to you later, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Peace.
All right. Shout out to my man Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internet. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box below, right at the very top. Let's get to the next call. Our call line is 617.
Hey, this is Ivan. Hey, what's wrong with your callers, man? One said that Kamala Harris is not qualified to be vice president because she wasn't born in the U.S. They're gonna come back with the same nonsense.
Who said that?
I guess one of your callers. I guess his name is Houston Jackson, something like that. I guess
he called in.
No, he posted something that I guess
okay.
He sent you some money. They again, all these things we've been through, all these issues before. I don't know what is the hype. I guess the internet is causing a lot of anxiety on people. I just don't understand. And do you respect the Constitution, by the way?
Sure.
Okay, so do you okay with President Trump violated Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution?
And what's that?
You don't know what's Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution?
Nope.
Okay, it's the budgeting. So that means that is approving funding without Congress approval. That is illegal.
No, it's not illegal. You can do that. You got power in executive.
No.
You can do executive.
It's illegal. The President of the United States cannot take funding from one area to another, number one. Number two, the President of the United States cannot sign an executive order with funding. It's
You sure
illegal.
can. Obama did it all the time.
How?
What do you mean how? He did it. That's how.
So let me check, dude. You need to read the Constitution. So we have 100 senators, right? You know that, right? You know that the bills are not passed in the House; the bills are passed in the Senate. From the Senate goes to the President. The President makes it into law. But the President himself or herself, cannot budget money without having appropriated funding that has been approved by the Congress. It's just read Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. I guess you don't know somebody could read it, please. The President cannot tax. The President cannot self-fund. Like the President cannot say, okay, I want $50 billion for XYZ without Congress approval. Congress has to approve it and he sign it. That is different. It could pressure Congress to do it, but it cannot do it on its own. That's illegal. Otherwise, don't you think others would assign reparations already? You say like $3 trillion for reparations for black people. Don't you think someone else would have done it already? So that's the lesson number one. Now, lesson number two, all this thing about Trump signing an executive order that they have very little understanding about the prescription drugs. Number one, if people are just ignorant, the president cannot demand private pharmaceutical companies in deciding how much they want to sell their products. In other words, the President of the United States cannot sign an executive order and say, okay, I want you to sell an aspirin for $9 where the company is selling it for $20.
Is that what he did?
No, he didn't do anything.
So what are you talking about?
Well, this is BS. This is all BS. The President of the United States cannot sign an executive order demanding private companies to lower the cost of their product. It's just that's socialism. It's like you go and tell a company how much you should sell your product. It's not possible. So all these things that Trump is doing, all this is just a cheap show, and you guys are eating them. Well, most of them because they're ignorant. Most of them they don't read. Most of them they don't even bother to at least do your research. I tell people, I'm not saying vote for Democrat, vote for Republicans. I'm not that. Look, at least figure it out and make the decisions in bed where you have figured out.
I think that everybody here has been able to, kind of see what's going on and figure out for themselves what's happening. I'm gonna talk right now. You're gonna be quiet. I think everybody's been able to kind of see what's going on and figure out what's happening for themselves, and they realize that Trump is the best option available. You got Joe Biden halfway dead, and Kamala Harris is a nut who just said like the other day how bad Joe Biden was and how she was disappointed at him for the whole thing about busing and everything else. So now here we are as the vice president. So I think that we know what's going on, who's going to be the best pick. But you know what? What's funny is that when I was talking just now, I had you on mute and I couldn't even hear you myself. And then I unmuted my own speakers and then I heard you still talking because if you're talking while I'm talking, you can't understand what I'm saying. You can't hear. That's why you're ignorant right now because you don't listen to nobody. But go ahead.
Okay, so Biden is not a good option. I'm going to agree with that. I think he has some memory failures. I think the self-started problem that he has affecting him, and it's older.
And Trump is better than Joe Biden.
Well, I don't know if he's better than Joe Biden because Trump doesn't listen. At least Joe Biden listens. He has to stop being so arrogant, though. Biden has to.
Joe Biden listens to who? The far left? The far left is people that want to destroy America?
It's nothing to do with what far left are you talking about?
What do you mean? What I mean the far left? Like when they asked him, "Hey, do you want to defund the police?" Or I want to reroute funds.
He didn't say that he wanted to defund the police. He said,
I didn't. See, look, you're not listening to what I said. What did I just? Wait, sir. What did I say just now?
Biden don't want to.
Sir, what did I say just now?
True. What do you say?
You weren't listening. How about be quiet and listen? How about be quiet and listen? Now, what he said was, "Hey, I want to reroute some funds." Now, that's not defund specifically, but What's the point in rerouting funds?
Well,
Like
you need to read the
somewhere.
report. You need to read the report in order to understand what he's saying. You don't
He
want to
said,
get all the details.
so he said reroute
But
funds,
read the report
sir,
and then
sir,
come back and ask
sir.
your questions.
He said reroute funds, didn't he?
But do you know what he
The
means?
question, I'm asking this question, so I don't got all night to deal with you. The question was, did he say to
Read
say
the
to
report and
reroute
then
funds,
form
yes
your
or no?
conclusions.
Yes or no question.
What? What is your no question?
Did he say to reroute funds from the police,
Well,
yes or
I don't know
no?
exactly what he said, but this is what
Exactly,
I
so you
know.
don't even know.
This is
So what are you arguing
let me
about?
explain to you.
All right, so
You need to
you've been on a little
write
bit too
the
long. Have a nice
report.
day, sir.
Oh, okay. So now.
All right, shout out to Ivan, but we don't got all night to be, we're playing games. Okay, let's get to the next call. Let's go 708, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Katie.
All righty, Katie, what's going on?
Hi, I just wanted to say two quick things. Actually, one quick thing and then a question. One is to Ivan, when he was talking about Trump meeting with the drug manufacturers and how that's socialism, it's actually just part of the whole art of the deal thing, where if somebody is overcharging you, you take them to the table and you take them to task and you make them give you proper pricing. That's just business.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. There you go.
Yeah, and the other question that I really had was, on Saturday, somebody called in and they didn't want to give their name or location, and she was a former super liberal white woman, and I was wondering, how many of those have you had that have used your show to, I hate to use the term red pilled because it's so tacky, but like that have used you or have heard you and you're kind of have been their, ramp onto getting the heck away from this leftist stuff, because I know I'm one of them.
Well, I'm glad I'm able to help you. That means a lot to me because, I never thought that I'd be able to be right here, helping people, but here I am. And I've gotten quite a few emails like that. I've been around the country going different places, and I've had people come to me in person and say, hell, you've helped me, you've helped a friend of mine, or I like when people say they can watch with their whole family. That means a whole lot to me. That everybody's kind of on the same page. That means a lot.
I have 3 teenage girls, and we all watch your show together with my husband, and all of us have absolutely moved, in directions we never thought we would. Because I remember last Christmas, we were at his family's gathering, and we were talking about, we're so left, a cat could knock us off a table. And now we have just rubber banded right back. Oh, no. Oh, but I just thank you so much for what you do, because you really, I know you changed our lives, and I felt very kind of alone in my little blue place that I live. And when I heard that other woman on Saturday, I realized I'm not the only one. And just thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your call, and I'm glad I'm able to help. It means a whole lot to me. So thank you for your call.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
I know. All right, shout out to the caller. Hey, that means a lot to me, though. I'm able to help people, and people are actually, getting something from what I'm doing. I never would have known. I never had any idea that I'd be able to be here right now. So shout out to y'all that are, they're taking that red pill. It's a great thing to be able to do. And I thank y'all for joining yet again. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. Let's go 678. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Oh, my name is Jason from North Georgia.
All right, I got a little bit of background noise. Turn your speakers down for me, boss.
I turned it down.
All righty.
How are you today, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing real good. I just had a couple of points to make today. Number one is I saw something on the internet about George Soros' grandson and Kamala Harris, and they have pictures together. And he stated that he and his grandfather specifically chose Kamala Harris as the Democratic running partner for Joe Biden. And number two is, do you really think that Democrats think they have a chance when Biden literally cannot get a sentence out of his mouth and they just hired Top Cop. So I no longer fear for the election, but I still fear for what's coming up in the country. What do you think about that?
I think that they think their best chance will be with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I think Joe Biden has a lot of name recognition because he was with Barack Obama for a long time. So people that don't watch politics at all, that have no idea who Joe Biden is, really aside from being Obama's VP, they may vote for him blindly. That's why they're trying to get rid of these debates, because they don't want to have too much exposure. I think the last debates were some of the most watched of all time. I think it was like 80 million people that watch, 18 million people. So those that never seen anybody that don't watch any kind of things like we do, they're going to watch those debates, and they make their judgment if they're kind of on the fence on that. So they don't want to have that. They want to just shy away from it and use the virus as a shield. So they think that might be their best chance. And then Kamala Harris, they've been promoting her for about 2 years in the Senate, so they feel like she may be able to get some kind of attention. Can they win? They thought they could win last time. It didn't work. They may feel confident right now, but I'm not really sure.
A lot of people are saying the words, Trump is the best option we got, and Trump is the best option we got. But I have looked at his policies, and being an American who has studied American politics throughout history, Trump is one of the greatest presidents that we have ever had. And to deny him those statistics and those facts is just wrong, and it's dirty. And I feel like somebody should maybe represent this in a book or something like that. I'm not as politically savvy as you are, but, point out the great things that he's done. I mean, who have we had since, like, FDR, Teddy Roosevelt? And they never implemented changes with, like, China. I've been worried about China for 10 years, ABL, and I know that they're coming. I've studied Sun Tzu, and I know that they are coming at our weakest points, and so I'm watching him do this, and I feel like he's just a great proponent for the American people, and to deny him that, which the left is doing, I think is a dirty, dirty play. Nobody does that to FDR or Teddy Roosevelt, and even Reagan, who a lot of people think of as a good president, but he hasn't, man. I mean, those peace talks with Russia and stuff like that, but as far as businesses looking out for the American people's interests, Trump has killed it, and I want it out there. He's killed it. And tell Ivan that he needs to study American politics, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. In a time of emergency, the president has the power to do what he needs to do to protect the American people, no matter what it is, pretty much. Whether it's calling in martial law, reappropriating funds, calling in the National Guard, he has the right to do that. America matters. The little man matters.
Very good points, man.
And
very well said.
That's all I would like to say to you, ABL. I love you so much, buddy. You're out there every day. The last time I called, we talked about a little bit of Gone with the Wind. I just wanted to throw that out there about China, because I feel like nobody else has gone to bat with these incredibly secretive and divisive countries such as China, the Middle East, Ukraine, Russia. Nobody is going to bat with these people like Trump is, and I will defend his honor until my dying day for that alone. And I love you, ABL. Have a great night, buddy.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem at all, man. See ya.
All right, great call. Excellent call. All right, Matt, what's going on?
ABL, how you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, 1 second. I don't know why Hey, this is something that that kind of concerned me about Harris and Joe Biden, and it's that they're already meeting with world leaders. Have you heard this?
No, I didn't hear
Well, they met with Justin Trudeau, and when he heard that he was meeting Kamala Harris, he didn't know if he should go in blackface or with a turban.
that. Good one.
Uh, Horrible Harris, I think, is one of the better names. Kamala Chameleon was pretty good too. Whoever put that one up, so kudos to that person. Trump's still 12 points behind the polls. I mean, I'm looking at them. There hasn't been very many that have come out since Kamala was announced, but he's got a long way to go. And I think the polls are probably biased, maybe about 4 points. I mean, based on the last election, Trump really reeled it in. Trump brought everybody home, and I think he's going to have to do that again. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel like we're seeing, it's like deja vu. It was the same thing last time in 2016. And I remember I was on Tommy Lauren's show, actually. I was on her show right around this time in 2016. And she asked me the question. She was like, you still think Trump's going to win? Is he really going to be able to do it? I was like, man, it's not even the question. He's definitely going to win. The polls are wrong. And I thought I got to say the same thing right now. It's like deja vu. It was the same thing. It was Black Lives Matter then. It's Black Lives Matter now. Defund the police then. Defund the police now. He's behind in the polls then. He's behind in the polls now. It's like the same thing. And then also the candidate, Hillary Clinton, looked like she was on her last leg, halfway dead. And Biden looks worse than she does. So I just don't really see how he can perform worse than what he did in 2016, not as the incumbent, but as a newcomer to politics, basically, against a guy like Joe Biden. And then Kamala Harris, who's probably the worst person you probably could have picked. I mean, the top cop, you got this whole thing going on right now with defund the police, ACAB, all this, that, and the third, all over the country in liberal areas. And you pick an attorney general. I don't understand how that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I don't. People kind of normalize that. If you look at the DNC press list, Tim Pool was talking about all these, really left-wing people not being invited, like the Young Turks and stuff like that. They're going to try to center pretty quick in order to maintain their base. But also, the people are so tunnel visioned on the news, I don't think they know that Joe Biden really grabbed somebody by the pee, whereas Trump was being sarcastic about it, lamenting a script by the Days of Our Lives. I think I told you that whole thing. Trump categorically said he cannot grab someone by the pee. That's not what he was saying. Joe Biden really did it to Tara Reid. And that's a good icebreaker, I think, if you're talking to especially a woman on the left, to say, hey, Joe Biden actually did it. Trump was being sarcastic and making fun of Hollywood when he was saying that. But if Trump could balance, I think, if I could say one thing to him, I would say, hey, get tough on the looting, get tough on that crime. But if you look at the polls on marijuana, I think almost 60% of Republicans now think it should be legalized. And I think if Trump came out with an executive order to say something to the effect of, hey, we're gonna crack down on that crime, on looting and rioting, but there's crime that my prior administrations, that in the United States, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have really cracked down on and put a lot of people in prison for. I think Trump could really swing the polls by at least acquiescing a little bit on that, and that is in his power for this schedule. And I'll leave you with that, and maybe one more thing about the drug pricing. A lot of that drug pricing stuff is really what trade agreements are. I think what's going to end up happening, there's going to be a new type of war, especially with China and Russia, and it's going to be the patents war. And right now we have all, I'm trying to come up with a non-offensive term, but basically everybody is giving each other favors. One country is giving another country favors on patents, and the citizens within each country are the people that are really getting hurt on that. China's not going to enforce any U.S. patents, and then we're going to say, all right, we're not going to enforce U.S. patents. And what's going to happen with that is a lot of these drugs, because China's manufacturing them, a lot of these drug prices are going to come down because no one's going to respect these intellectual property agreements, which is a great thing, I think. But that's all I got for you.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank y'all for calling. You guys are the best audience on the internet. All right, Tariq, what's happening?
Hey, man, what is going on, man?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Oh, man, Kamala Harris, man, it's, you see a lot of black people mad about it. And I'm just like, what are y'all mad for? Like, y'all told them you want a black woman, so this is what you're going to get. Like, you didn't say what type of policies you want. You just wanted a black woman so you could be happy about it. And to me, man, Kamala Harris, I don't feel like she's just, I don't know, just been inside the black community. You got a Jamaican father who is black, but you have no relationship with him. And, when you were introduced to the Senate, they introduced you as an Indian. And, the thing is, I don't care about this identity politics so much, but the reason why this matters is because you are presenting a woman who claims that she is pro-black, blackity black, and she's not. And you can tell she's not, because on the Breakfast Club, they asked her what does she like to do on her downtime. I don't know what they asked her. She was in college or whatever, but she said in the 1980s she used to listen to Snoop Dogg and Tupac. And they weren't even out in the 80s. And she's talking about she's smoking weed. So to me, what Kamala Harris did was she pandered to black people like a white liberal would. Just like how Hillary Clinton would go on and say, hot sauce. Yeah, hot sauce in my purse. It's the same. It's like, she's like disconnected from the black community. So, it's like, what angers me, it's like black people. Joe Biden didn't even ask you which black woman you would want. What is the black community overwhelmingly said? Candace Owens. He wouldn't do it. Like, so to me, like, this is just a pander pick. This is one of those diversity pandering picks to say, you know what, we ain't going to give you Negroes nothing else. Because you don't demand nothing. All I want is representation. This is all you're going to get. And it's just frustrating me. Like, this is why the black community remains stagnant in politics, and because we don't play chess. Like, a lot of us have not matured. And it's just like we are taking off of what our grandparents did. As they've been voting Democrat all their life because they are scared of quote-unquote racist Republicans. And no African American can tell you how their life changed for the worse under Trump. What has Trump done specifically to hurt African Americans to the point that you are allowing Joe Biden to disrespect you and still vote for him? Like, no African American answer that question. So yeah, man, this to me, this Kamala Harris pick is an insult. And what the Trump campaign has to do is not release that ad calling her a leftist. Like, no one cares about that, radical left. No, go after her as an AG in California. Point out this fake outflow people of color, I'm minority crap with her. Tell minorities how she was locking up Troy's mother. Excuse me. When Joe Biden says Kamala Harris is for the little guy, you say, how the heck she's for the little guy when she's fighting Truett mothers? Is she not understanding the situation that maybe they can't watch their kids? You know what I'm saying? And what about her being for the little guy when she's locking up black men for marijuana possessions? Like, why are we going after her on that? We need to also go after her on, there was a case where she, was trying to push a man to go on death row on faulty evidence. And I think the courts in California had to stop that. Like, Trump needs to call her crooked cop Kamala. No cop, but say, she is the cop that you don't want. She is the cop that embarrasses all cops. And you want to know why I call her crooked cop Kamala? Look at her career. Look at her career. That's what Trump needs to do. I swear to God, that will ring across. But we should not be like, she's a leftist who is going to raise your taxes. No, because you remember, bro. You remember when she debated on that debate stage and Tulsi Gabbard brought that up? Have you noticed Kamala Harris has not recovered since? That killed her. Tulsi Gabbard calling her out on her AG record killed Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris gave the most snarky, elitist response I have ever heard on CNN, where where Anderson Cooper played it for her. And she gave a response talking about, well, I'm just, the higher candidate, and of course people lower stature is going to take swipes at me. And then of course she used the whole, well, Tulsi Gabbard is an Assad politician. They use these status quo terms because they think people are stupid. But then the people spoke. So yeah, man, we have got to focus on Kamala Harris' AG record. This is Trump's election to win on the platter. Joe Biden chose the most flawed candidate for black people. And another thing, I don't care about interracial dating or marriage. If you have a white man or white woman as your marriage partner, I don't care. And a lot of people seem to do that. And if you notice, a lot of black people seem to take that interracial or marital really seriously. And I don't think black women would have sided with Obama if he had a white wife. Straight up, I don't think so. So, if you notice with Kamala Harris' husband, she never trots him out. If you notice that, she never trots him out. Barack Obama had his wife all out there. But Kamala Harris is not going to have her husband out because she knows that just in the black community, for some reason, we look down on it. But I think we need to play towards that, especially towards black men. Because we got to have black men understand that if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden get into power, you will not be represented as a black man. If you listen to Kamala Harris and what she says that's important, her issues are LGBT issues, immigration issues, and feminist issues. If you notice, he always says black woman, black woman, black woman. What about the black man? The black man is failing at all levels. Why aren't there any policies, issues helping young black boys? And they do that specifically. And this is what the black community has to understand about the Democrats. They specifically uplift the black woman so the black woman can look at the black man that he ain't nothing, that he ain't crap, that you don't need your black man. That's why I keep saying black women hold down the Democrat Party, even though sadly, which I don't agree with the black man for doing, but the black men are doing it, they are voting Democrat upwards of 80%. So, you know what I'm saying? You can say as a whole black people are, but they're specifically elevating the black woman and saying, you gold girl, you black girl, y'all are holding the Democrat Party to make the black man look like he is useless. And black people have to wake up to that because they understand when you have this gender divide, it creates dysfunction. And that's how they control us, bro. But yeah, man, I'm hoping that black people, some of them who has this anger towards Kamala Harris, keep it. And this is what tanks Joe Biden, because I want to see their faces. I want to see these snarky liberals' faces crying when Trump wins another 4 years, man. That is going to be music to my ears, bro.
No doubt.
And that's pretty much all I got to say, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, peace. All right, shout out to my man Tariq for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate y'all. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's a number to get in through, not a number, email to get in through Skype in the description box below. So you could be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. But let me get back to the call. 361, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say that, I know y'all got a lot going on before this election. We got, something to focus on there. But after that, we need to do some kind of better job organizing. And, I remember after Bush did the bailouts back in 2008 and then Obama got elected, the Tea Party thing came up pretty quick, probably got co-opted by the establishment fairly early. But, there were movements all over the country. People, here in my town, down in South Texas, threw tea down in the harbor, and it's kind of silly. But, we got some people into Congress, but we need to find a way to fight back, maybe go after, tech censorship and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can get deeper into that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know that you and some of these other YouTubers, you have large followings, and we need to find a way to, because we'll probably get Trump in maybe, but they're just no one's going to look at. I mean, no one's going to look at the election like it's legitimate, no matter what happens, really. But they're the left is going to go quite insane after all of this, even more so probably than now, unless there's some sort of 1984 style election where there's just a blowout. But yeah, we need to focus mostly on that. And, I just wanted to say that, and thanks for taking my call.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to the next call here. Let's go. Let me see. Hold on. Let's go. 925 on the line. I'm speaking to.
Ryan North from California.
All righty, man. What's happening?
What's up, man? Well, first of all, what was the caller's name? It's been a few callers now since him, but he was talking about Trump can't put in executive action. What was that guy's name?
Oh, you're talking about Ivan.
Ivan. Does Ivan know that Obama pretty much ran his entire presidency putting in executive actions? Does he know this?
I was trying to tell him, but he wasn't listening.
Dude's crazy, man. Dude's crazy. Second thing I wanted to say is, if you do run for office, you need to come here from down to California, and you need to run here, because these liberal people will never vote in a Republican unless he's black. It's the truth. And you could come clean up this entire state, because what Newsom's done, what Nancy Pelosi's done, you just go on. Oakland mayor, whoever. I mean, it's disgusting. San Francisco used to be beautiful. Now it's a wasteland.
Yeah, that's terrible. It really is, man. Because you got just like you said, it's beautiful, a lot of beautiful architecture and everything. And then you just have filth right in the center of it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I say in chat all the time, like someone said, you can't live in California. I said, you can. I live in a suburb called Orinda. It's beautiful, but once you travel into the city, they got needle exchanges now, and oh man, it's just crazy to me.
Right.
But anyway, I just wanted to say what's up. I'm always in your chat talking to you, and we talked a little a few days ago, or last time you were on. And I was just thanking you, and just want to thank you again. I follow you. I talk about you. My whole family knows about you by now, so they might be sick. They might be sick of me talking about you, but keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, brother.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, California is a tough place, man. These cities are just going just down the tubes, man. It's really a shame. All righty, man. What's going on?
Anthony, what's up? How you doing today, brother?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Let me see how this sounds. I'm gonna say hopefully it comes out good. Bombshell. We have a bombshell, like the mainstream media, man. But before I give you the bombshell, let me give you my quick thoughts on Kamala Harris, on Joe Biden picking her. I think it's a subpar pick, and a very horrible at that, right? Because of what she has said of Joe Biden in the past, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, and I want to ask you this, who do you think is a rising star in the Democratic Party? Like, who else could Joe Biden have picked? Like, who's there? Who has some type of gravitas, as they say? Because I don't see anybody. The last two candidates, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, have been horrible picks for the Democratic Party. So who do you think for, let's say, for 2028, who do you think they have?
Well, that's a good question. And the thing is, they had some people that could have been there this time. You had, now, I wouldn't have voted for these people ever, but just looking at that, just put myself in their shoes, Andrew Yang was right there. They had him. Tulsi Gabbard was right there. You got all the chat. You got minority. You got guy coming in with new ideas, fresh, energetic, could pull in the young base. Tulsi Gabbard, same thing. Now they're leftists. Don't get that confused. And Tulsi is pretty far leftist. I think Andrew Yang is kind of far leftist too. But that would have been that should be kind of the direction that you're going in. But the Democratic Party are really still stuck in this old school establishment kind of way. That's why they went with Joe Biden. They're stuck in that kind of mode, you know.
They're not going that way. That's the thing. I don't see like Tulsi Gabbard looks like, to be honest, she looks like I seen conservatives speaking about her, so she looks like a good moderate. But like you said, the Democratic Party is not going anywhere. Like, you know, they're stuck, like you said, with their old people. But let me give you the bombshell that I just heard actually while you were live. I was reading this. This dropped this early. I don't know. Have you heard about the Newsweek article? And I'm reading you right off of it. It's called Some Questions for Kamala Harris About Eligibility. Basically, Bertha 2.0 on Kamala Harris. Did you read that article?
I've not read that article.
That article is saying, I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Obviously, everybody knows, like you were covering early, that Kamala Harris is half Jamaican, half Indian, right? So both her parents are immigrants, right? And the question that this article centers around is around amendment, the 14th Amendment, which reads, and let me read you just a little part of it. It says, the 14th Amendment does not, and it provides that all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So the question is Kamala Harris a citizen? And it's talking about her parents. When her parents came here, were they on immigrant visas or for example, school visas, right? If they were, Kamala Harris, even though she was born in Oakland 100%, but her parents were not subjects to the jurisdiction thereof, meaning they were not subject of the United States. They were here temporarily. For example, in the 1940s, in the Bracero program, where they brought in Mexican workers, if one of the workers had a child in the United States, a family, when that program ended, both the workers and the kids went back, and the child was not considered, even though he was born in the United States, the child was still not considered a United States citizen. And even to this day, the Supreme Court does not 100% recognize that everybody, no questions asked, born in the United States is a U.S. citizen. So it seems like it's a crazy avenue of this Bertha thing on Kamala Harris, whether she is, because she plays different parts, right? In one time she's a Indian American senator, and another time she's a black, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's crazy, man, that they might be going after for this Bertha thing. What do you think about that?
It'll be kind of hard for them to kind of get that one off, because I'm thinking if you're born here, that's pretty much it. Anchor baby all day long. You know, that's really what it is. I've seen people come across the border, just walking across, hop the border, have a baby, and then boom, U.S. citizen. You know, I've seen that happen. So with Kamala Harris, it'd be kind of a tall mountain to climb to try and say that she, although born here, is not a citizen. That'd be really hard. It'd be almost to the point where it wouldn't be worth trying, in my opinion.
It is. I mean, it sounds crazy. What does she bring to the table, man? I'm not saying that she's bringing anything to the table, just besides what Donald Trump says, nastiness. Does she add anything to? I don't see she's adding anything. We Democrats have California, and the black vote, which is probably why they took a black woman in the first place, doesn't trust her because she's a cop, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, the whole cop thing, that's going to be a negative against her. She doesn't really bring anything positive. The only thing that she has is the fact that the DNC have put a lot of investment and time into her, because, you know, she got into the Senate. You know, they had this whole big rollout, first Indian American, all this, that, and the third. And then every time there'd be some kind of random hearing for something in the Senate, they would put her on TV and they would have her be on NBC. Same thing with Cory Booker. They invested into her. They built her up. They thought that she would be a good asset to try and put in there for the presidential race. It didn't really work out too well. So it was like, okay, we still got an asset right here. She's a puppet. She'll do whatever we tell her to do. She's down for whatever. So put her right next to Biden and there'll be two puppets. We can pretty much just string them along. We'll tell them whatever they got to do. And that'll be pretty much how it is.
But that makes more sense, actually, because, I mean, she doesn't bring anything to the table. Like, for example, when Mike Pence was elected, he brought in Indiana, which was a state that the president needed, and he also brought in the evangelical Christian vote, which is a positive. Here, Kamala Harris is not bringing anything to the table. I think it's a real tough battle to climb for the Democratic Party in general, but let's see what happens. 2020 is crazy. But I think our boy, Trump got this, man.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Take care, my brother. Have a good one, all right?
And thank you for the show, man. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem, brother.
All right. Shout out to my man, the Valentine Show. Go follow him on YouTube. The YouTube's right now, the Valentine Show. All righty. Let's go get to my next call here. 405, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's Naomi. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain about yourself.
Being good. That guy that called in earlier, you've said his name a million times and I forgot. The guy who thinks he knows it all.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan. There you go. The last I heard, when it came to prescriptions, from everything that Donald Trump talks about, is that he was going to have America buy prescription drugs from other countries that were getting them dirt cheap, and hoping that in the process of that the pharmaceuticals will lower their rates for America. It wasn't about an executive order. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know either. You know, he just kind of says things that don't really make a whole lot of sense. Because he was saying that, I was like, is that what really happened? Yeah, I figured that's not. I figured that's not what's really going on. But he'll just say things that don't make any sense sometimes.
Well, he thinks he talks like he knows everything. It's really kind of funny, but whatever. I just wanted to say hey again. I'm sure you got sick of seeing my phone number. So.
Oh, it's all good.
Anyway.
I appreciate all the calls. It's all good.
But I love your show, and I did get a chance to watch you and Officer Tatum, and who were the other two guys you were with?
That was Derek Gradenigo, and also Jericho Green was on the show last time.
Yeah, that was really good. You guys need to do that again.
We do the show every Thursday. It's me. It's always.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, every Thursday on Brandon's channel is always Derek, Brandon, myself with a special guest for the fourth person every Thursday.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, I'll have to. What time is that at again?
8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so 7 o'clock my time. All right. Well, keep up the good work, and I agree. You need to go into politics.
Hey, I might have to do that. If you guys support it, I have to be there.
Hey, but I digress, right?
There you go.
Take care.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Let's get to the next call. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And yeah, that show that we do, that's on Brandon Tatum's channel. Each and every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern is when we start. Unless you say otherwise, or we can't do it because Brandon's super busy. Like Brandon is like way up here. I'm trying to get to Brandon's level. So he's busy sometimes and we can't do it. But normally we do that every Thursday, 8 p.m. It's always Brandon, Derek, and myself with the fourth special guest. All right, let's get to the next call. 650, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Timo from the San Francisco Bay Area.
All righty, what's going on?
I just, I don't understand how people just don't want to look at the facts. I don't care what we're talking about, the media or BLM or the issues of the election or the candidates. Just look at the facts. And I think that's the problem with the Republican Party is that they don't really they're not aggressive about it. when you look at the Democrats and the leftists, they're just so aggressive and so angry. And the only way that we can deal with them is factually. And I think that's the key to everything. With this election, beyond the election, we have to sit them down like children and explain to them what they're thinking is just fantasy, basically. So anyway, I don't want to take up your time. I know you're almost out of time, but speaking for everybody, we love you, man. And if you were to run, you'd be surprised how many votes you got.
I think I will, because you guys are very good supporters, and you be how I would get in. So I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You too. Thanks again.
All right.
Good night.
All right, shout out to the caller. And thank you all for being here. Let's get to the next call. The phone lines are jumping through the roof. If I can't get to you right now, it's not my fault. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try to get to the next call here. All righty. Romer, what's going on? Romer, what's happening? Going once. Sorry, Romer. You got to pick up the phone when I answer. Let's go to the next call. 206 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Thank y'all for being here. Let's get to the next
206. I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, I just want to say, I'm Chris. I'm out of Seattle, Washington. So I'm like in one of the most liberal cities as you can imagine. I've been following you for a while, and I do really, really like your show. I like the information that you have to offer. This is actually a pretty pivotal time for us in this country. One of the things that I want to talk about is the fact that a lot of people don't see this element of the elimination of the black male, not only in just terms of physically, but in terms of just in general. I think the left does a really, really good job of using us as martyrs. Like they're quick to try to hold us up, like we're like this, the poor black male getting killed by police and all of that type of stuff, right? But one of the things that you don't see, like I live here in Seattle, I've been here for the last 5 years. There was just this study that came out on the restaurant business here in Seattle and how black people were still being discriminated against and yada, yada, yada. One of the things that I've noticed with this pairing of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is, again, this idea of them pairing the black woman with the white male. Because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but all over the media, all over TV, all over the media, all you see now is the black female being paired with the white male. And I think that this is their cherry on top, so to speak, as to present that message. Now, again, I don't have any problem with interracial marriage. I think interracial marriages have been around since this country's been here. It's been around since humans have been humans. But one thing I don't appreciate is the fact that when the media pushes an agenda, and I want to focus on black men, because I tell black men all the time, you need to pay attention to what's going on. You need to really, 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 really pay attention to what's going on. Now, one of the things that I want to say is that, these are two people that I know you've covered this in your show, but these are two people who are been consistently known to lock up black folks. Like that's their whole thing. And so it's really, really disconcerting to me to see now again we have a situation now where they're trying to pair the black woman with the white male and to have and whatever this message is. And I think that black men in particular need to wake up, and they need to realize, regardless of what side of the aisle that you're on, whether you're on the left or the right, you need to really, really, really hone in and pay attention. Because one thing that's not being talked about, ABL, is the media and how the media has a strong influence and how the media is pushing this agenda. And that's one of the things I really wanted to ask you about, because as much as I watch your show and I appreciate your conservative views, I'm an independent myself, so I don't agree with everything. But I do want to ask you, like, what do you feel about black families and the success of black families? Are you for it? Are you against it? What's your take on that?
Am I for or against the black family success?
Yeah. Are you? I mean, are you for? Are you? I don't know if you're opposed to interracial marriage or anything or not like that, but like, do you feel that it's important for black men and black women to be married and have children and have successful families?
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely in favor of that, because what you got going on right now is a lack of black family. You got, like, most of the women out there. I think they said about 75% of black women have kids outside of wedlock. That's
the marriage, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. So we definitely need to have more of that for sure. Ain't no question about it. We got to have more families together. That's really the root of all the problems. The lack of family structure, also the welfare state, which is funding all the problems in the family.
Exactly. So I'm out here in Seattle. They just defunded. They just chose to defund the police by about 50%. There are a lot of businesses here that are now closing up shop now, leaving town, because they decided to do this. And one of the things for people that don't live here, that are not privy with what's going on here, is that a lot of these liberals who are making these decisions about defund police and XYZ, they're making these decisions because they don't live in the communities that are having these problems. And every time they try to help us, they end up screwing us over. There's a book that you guys should read. It's by a guy named, I think his name's Jason C. Riley. And he writes a book, and it's called Stop Helping Us. It's in the vein of Thomas Sowell, if you guys aren't familiar with him. But it really goes into how liberals have basically done a disservice to black people for at least the last 30 or 40 years, since the Civil Rights Movement. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I just wanted to if black men are listening, hey, man, please, guys, pay attention to what's really going on. We need to be marrying black women. Nothing against it. Again, nothing against interracial marriage, but we need to be marrying black women and being responsible and having more children so that we can build wealth in this country, because that's what our ancestors fought for and died for. And thank you for your time. That's really all I got to say.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No worries. Bye.
Yeah, shout out to the caller. But yeah, he's right, though, because the big issue right now with the black community is a lack of married parents. You got the moms out here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, no dad around at all. And it's like, if that is going on, if you have that cycle happening, you're never going to be able to prosper in that. You're just not going to be able to do it. So, that has to stop. And it needs to stop, like, now, really. It needed to stop when it started to happen 50 years ago, when it went down that direction. But it needs to stop right now. I mean, and if we don't stop it, it'll just get worse and worse. We're trying to do certain things on a policy level is better, pretty good. The first step after whatnot, that's good. But you got to go down to the core, because the policy changes that are kind of soft will just kind of put a Band-Aid on a situation, but it won't really fix it. It's like getting shot with a shotgun and then putting a Band-Aid on one of the wounds that the shotgun creates. You need to go ahead and just get into surgery and fix the whole thing and then get back to normal and rocking and rolling. All right. Oh, and these hats I'm wearing right here on my head right now are available on my merch website, ablmerch.com. Go to ABL Merch right now and get your hat ASAP. And I'll get back to the calls. The number to call is, and also the flags in the background. Those are available over at BHE Designs. There should be a link in the box. Matter of fact, I'll put those links in the box and then I'll get to the next call. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Let's go to 209. You're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yeah, so who am I speaking to?
This is Debbie.
Alrighty. What's going on?
Is this Anthony?
Yes, it is.
You're talking to somebody else right now on the TV.
Okay, yeah, but it's a delay, so do not watch the TV. Just talk to me on the phone, please.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say the same thing that other lady said, that when you guys do the show where all four of you guys are together, it's really great. And I always watch the show every morning because you and Jericho and Officer Tatum, Candace, all you guys, I just love you guys. And I'm a white woman, because we all are supposed to love each other because we're all brothers and sisters. And the thing of it is that you guys are doing such a wonderful job. I just wish that everybody knew about you. I send you guys out on my platform on Facebook and all my other things. I hope I'm helping. I don't know. But you need to be up there with Officer Tatum, too.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm saying kudos to you. And the only thing is that today, your first story I got to watch because I don't go to sleep till like 6 o'clock in the morning. So the first story I got to see was you and that little white boy, and it just broke my heart, and I just cried. I just don't understand what's going on in our world.
Yeah, it's really crazy what's happening.
Yeah, but I just want to thank you for your time. I know you have lots of calls, and I can't believe I got through to you finally. I've been trying for like a month.
Well, I'm glad you made it, and thank you for your call and your support. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, you take care.
All right, now, take care.
Talk to you later, Anthony. Bye-bye.
All right, now. All right, and shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next call. Number to call, 434-658-1220. And let's go ahead and get to it. 720, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how's it going, ABL?
Everything's great. Can't complain. About yourself?
Good. Hey, this is Russ from Denver. I was thinking about the Kamala Harris VP pick that Biden chose. Personally, I think it's a disaster, but I've been kind of drawing parallels to both the 2008 McCain campaign and this one right here, as well as 1984 with Mondale Ferraro. And the thing I've kind of came to a conclusion is they've all been dud candidates, and so they picked people to help excite the base as the running mate. And it never really turned out well. I mean, you go back to the 2008 McCain campaign. McCain was just, so moderate lefty. Nobody in the conservative base was really excited about him. So he picked Sarah Palin, and all of a sudden, conservatives are enthusiastic. They want to go support Sarah Palin, and then they're willing to vote for McCain, but it didn't really work out because Obama ended up winning that election because he was more inspiring to people than McCain was. And then the Mondale was just dud. He was boring. He wasn't exciting the base. So what did he do? He picked a woman, and he thought that by picking a woman that he could get the base out to vote for him. Reagan ended up winning 49 states in that election. And so this isn't really going to work out for Joe Biden at all. I mean, yeah, he picked a woman and he picked a black woman, but so what? Okay. Not only did she pretty much clean his clock in the primary debate, but that friction, it's still there. It's not going to be visible. Plus, I have a feeling that the people running the Biden campaign are pretty much telling Kamala Harris, saying, look, if you honestly think that when Joe wins, that you're going to be running this administration, you're mistaken, because we who are running this campaign are also going to be running the country. So do not think for a second that you are going to be president at all, because that is not going to happen. So there's going to be some friction in that campaign. You're just not going to hear about it through the mainstream media.
You know what? I feel like Kamala Harris has already been informed about what's going to happen. She's like, they probably were like, okay, look, this is what's going to go on. Joe Biden will not be doing any kind of governing, nor will you. We'll take care of everything. You just be out there, be the face. So if you're cool with that, we're cool with that, and we keep on moving. I think that's pretty much the conversation, because it was like that with Barack Obama. This guy was not actually really governing. He was doing things that those around him were telling him to do, which is why it was refreshing to get Trump in there, because here's a guy that actually governs, and it's not just being led by those around him to do whatever they want him to do.
Well, exactly. And that's kind of the thing that I think people don't get. I'm telling you, there are people that were on the left that are not enthusiastic about Joe Biden. And now they're coming out and they are saying, "Oh yes, we love Kamala Harris. I mean, not only is she a woman, she's a black woman. She can help get the black vote that Biden needs." And I'm thinking, you guys are a bunch of freaking idiots. And it's like, we tried this with the McCain-Palin ticket. It did not work. Okay, it's not going to work here. If you want an inspiring candidate, that person needs to be at the top of the ticket, not as the running mate. It simply is not going to turn out the base. It's just not. Now, you're always going to have people that vote Democrat no matter what, simply because they have a D by their name, because they've done it for generations. Yes, you're going to have that happen. But just because Kamala Harris is the running mate and not at the top of the ticket, you're just not going to have people. You're not going to have people turn out. In fact, what's going to happen is you're going to have people turn out more for Trump than ever before, because Kamala Harris is, a little further left than Joe Biden, and we're going to be attacking her record just as much as we are Joe Biden. Plus, the thing is, we're not going to let go of the fact that she called Biden a racist during the primary debate, and also that she believes the Joe Biden victim. So we're not going to let that go either. Okay, we are going to pounce on her, and if they think that she is going to clean Mike Pence's clock in the VP debate, she is sadly mistaken, because let me tell you something about Mike Pence. Mike Pence has been doing this for a long time. He served as a congressman before he became governor, and then he also served as governor, and then is now Trump's vice president. He did very well in that debate against Tim Kaine. So if people think that she's going to clean his clock, it's just not going to happen. I don't see it. If anything, Mike Pence is going to be owning her, because he's got some tricks up his sleeve that she's not going to be aware of. So, though, that's just my thought. This is not going to inspire anybody. Okay, it might turn out the far left base a little bit, but it's going to be turning away people that were on the fence in the middle, and they're going to be heading more toward Trump now. It's going to completely backfire.
That's right, no doubt. Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep. Take care, man.
I know.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next call here. Now you're in line. Am I speaking to?
Yes. You're speaking to Harold from North Carolina.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I live about 30 minutes from where that young man got killed in Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a retired police officer from New York City, and I'm a black man, and I'm tired of hearing about Black Lives Matter. 7,500 black people get killed every year. Nobody says anything. It's only convenient every now and then when a white guy gets killed by a brother gets killed by a white guy, all hell breaks loose.
That's right. All the time.
Yes, I just wanted to say I'm
All right, I got a little bit of background noise. Turn your speakers down for me, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, we good.
Well, Mr. Logan, you're doing a very good job, and keep up the good work. The bottom line is it's embarrassing as a black man to see these young people out here looting and stealing. It's embarrassing. It's insulting.
Yeah, it really is. And then, people justifying it. That's probably the worst thing. They're out there. That's bad enough. Just, lawless. But then you got those that are justifying it, the politicians and everything, talking about, oh, it's okay. This is the riot is a voice of the voiceless. It's like, nah, these are just people that are out there tearing stuff up because they want to tear stuff up. There's no justification for it. And then on top of that, they're like giving into their demands. Okay, BLM was out here rioting, doing all this and that. Okay, let's go ahead and defund the police. Let's cut the police force. And then when the crime jumps, as it will, obviously, when you cut the police, they don't really care about that too much. That's not even really important.
Well, you know what I ask most of the liberals that I have arguments with? How come none of these geniuses marched on the crack houses in the hood? How come they never marched on the gang houses in the hood? How come they don't march on the abortion clinics in the hood?
That's right. Because that's where your anger, that's where your energy should be directed towards actual problems.
Yeah, well, like I said, we've been bamboozled again into another white. The bottom line is, it's a black problem, and I don't like white people in black problems. They should not be in this equation at all. If police brutality is a problem, we should handle it in-house. We don't need white folks to help us.
That's right. Exactly.
Have a good night, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right, yeah, shout out to the officer. Ain't nothing but true words spoken. Nico, what's happening?
Hi, Anthony. Is everything well?
Everything is great, man. How about yourself?
I'm really sorry about a couple of weeks ago for giving you that potato call,
It's all right, man. It happens. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, but I just gotta say is that, maybe I'm just a little behind on things, but every time I see these mask videos, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on TV or wherever, or maybe a YouTube ad, I'm just getting really sick and tired of it, to be frankly honest.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Like this whole mask thing is just it's just getting really old.
And not only that, it's just these people who have made masks, those homemade masks from vending machines. Now they're admitting that these masks don't really work, to be honest. And even and I remember I was angry about these mask tutorials, but seeing tutorials about masks really makes me angry, because teaching someone to wear a mask is like teaching someone to pour a bowl of cereal. Well, gee, you idiots, you take the milk, you pour it in the bowl of cereal, and you eat your Rice Krispies before you get soggy, okay, you idiots?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but you know what? And it's also the same thing. It's just with this lockdown, it comes close to say that this is perhaps one of the greatest mistakes in the history of our time.
Yeah, I think so. I think once we look back on it, we'll realize that this was a big mistake, for sure.
I mean, it's kind of like the same thing. It kind of feels like that. You ever heard of War of the Worlds, right? And you know the movie. It's not the movie, but it was a movie, but it came from this source called by H.K. Wells. It was this. Have you heard of this 1940s radio drama?
Yeah.
Where basically there was this radio drama and it drove people into hysteria, and then all of a sudden they believed that an alien invasion was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it really feels like.
And you got a great point there, because people were so convinced it didn't have any other way to know that this was not real. They were convinced because they kept hearing it over and over. They thought it was real. Same thing with all this mask drama. It's to the point now where people want to fight. People want to get into actual physical confrontations over not wearing the mask. It's ridiculous.
And not only, it's the same thing with Jaws, too, in the 1970s, where it scared people out of the water, but I digress on that. And speaking of that, where you saw violent confrontations, I also heard of this. Have you heard the story about, I think it was in San Diego or Los Angeles, I believe, where there was this couple in a dog park, and all of a sudden this mask Karen or snitch or whatever, she actually came up to the couple and pepper sprayed them in the eyes just because they weren't wearing a mask. And this was outside in a dog park. I saw that video, and that was ridiculous. It's like, look, we're outside. Like, what are you even doing? Like, all you got to do is get away from me. Don't come up on me and then assault me. You're making the situation worse. No, sir. And not only that, I also remember seeing this one video, and it was a bit disturbing, to be honest, but there was this mom and her two little girls. I think they looked about to be 7 to 5, and they weren't wearing masks in the store. And then all of a sudden there was another woman who was wearing a mask. She says, "I hope you and your children get COVID and die.
That's crazy. It's like, okay, you got these loving and caring liberals that wish death on you because you're not doing what they want you to do. I was like, what do we like? I feel like this is kind of exposing people for who they are rather than who they pretend to be on social media. You know, they say they're nice and they're caring and whatnot, but then when you do something they don't like, I hope you die. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it's also the same thing. I always see these these idiotic TikTok videos about these quote unquote real doctors and nurses saying wearing a mask will help save lives. Well, to me, saying wearing a mask to help doctors and save lives is like saying I drive a Prius to help save the environment.
Right, exactly.
Well, what happens when your Prius crashes? Oh yeah, your quote-unquote environmentally friendly electric vehicle is going to crash, and all of a sudden it's probably going to catch fire. It's going to leak all that corrosive battery acid onto the street. It's probably going to the drain, probably going to leak into the water supply. That's probably going to be as poisonous as the gas and the oil that's used to power a traditional conventional car.
Exactly. And then how much was needed to make the car to begin with? How many fossil fuels did you burn to do that? And the plastic and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and not only that, you know what would really help? You know what would really help the environment? Cleaning beaches or that kind of stuff, or picking up trash in the parks or in trails or that kind of stuff. It's the same thing. You know what would really help doctors? Herd immunity, or quarantining those Americans who actually travel out of country. I mean, we've done this for hundreds of years, and it was a lot more cost effective and much more logical than shutting down the whole economy. I mean, those Americans that happen to travel to China or come from Italy or these COVID hotspots, they used to happen to come back. We keep them isolated. We keep them out. We probably keep them offshore or outside the American borders or in remote areas away from the general population, so they could stop us from getting sick. That would have worked a lot more better.
Exactly, 100% correct.
All right, and you know what? These are probably the same doctors who say about the racism, that racism kills us. These are probably the same doctors who probably take selfies while their patient is put under anesthesia.
Right.
I mean, would you trust a doctor to do that?
No.
All right, and also I want to say this really quick. I mean, with Portland and Seattle that's going on right now, the really sad part about it is that I guess since I'm still young, you really enjoy these types of cities. And this was exactly last year I was up in those cities, which was really a sad part because actually I had a really great time up there. And speaking of which, with Ted Wheeler, watching them getting attacked by these so-called peaceful protests, it's actually very cathartic to watch when you really think about it. I mean, I wouldn't call it violence. Okay, I know how the media, they call these riots peaceful protests. Well, if I'm going by their logic and using their terminology, to you, Ted Wheeler, I'm not going to call it violence. I'm going to call it a dose of reality.
Exactly. Like, let's just do it like that. And then how are they going to say there's anything bad? I mean, they said that it was peaceful and everything was all right. Then I'll say, okay, dose of reality. There you go. There you have it.
We warned you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, okay? But I guess it happens.
That's right.
Anyway, Anthony, I know you have 4,000 calls on tonight, so I'm just going to let you go from here.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, have a nice day, sir.
Same to you. All right, great call from Nico. Shout out to my man, Nico. All right, and thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internet. So let's get to the next call. Victor, what's happening, boss?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, have you heard this story about this guy named Duncan Lemp?
Duncan Lemp?
Yes.
That name sounds familiar, but I'm not really sure who that is.
Okay, so he was a 21-year-old guy that was recently killed by the cops while he was sleeping in his bed. And the reason why I brought that up is because this is similar to the Breonna Taylor story. How the people say that black people mention how the cops are targeting black people, or they try to show how racist the cops are. Well, you have this situation that's happened to a white man, but yet though it is not getting any national coverage at all.
Okay, yeah. Now I looked him up. I do remember hearing about him. Yeah, it's crazy, but you know that's how it is usually. If it's a white person, and it doesn't really fit the narrative, then they won't cover it at all because they gotta no matter what, they gotta preserve the narrative. That's all that really matters to them. So they just totally ignore it.
It's all about starting a race war. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean it could be that, but also they just want to have this whole thing about white man bad. Their content is just based on that. That's pretty much what it is. And all the other media outlets are the same. Just like the AP, they used to be kind of neutral, but now they're not anymore. They said that they're going to capitalize black when speaking about black people, but not white. So it's like, all right, what is the purpose of that? If you're going to capitalize a race, why not all the races? Why some versus the other? It's crazy.
Yeah. And this is why I think that why Black Lives Matter and black people feel that no one is listening to them is because they're always putting a racial component into it when there's no racial component there. I mean, if you look at the civil rights movement, they were fighting for the rights, for black people rights, but they also had some type of non-racial component to get people to support them. That's why you see with somebody like Martin Luther King Jr., how he had all different types of races that was marching with them. And then as well as with Malcolm X, that changed the way he talked after he got suspended by the Nation of Islam. And you look at today how they not taking a non-racial component, but yet though they're talking about we need to defund the police because they're targeting black people. When you have a Yale study that shows that it's not true. There's no racial disparity in policing. And then you have a story like Duncan Lemp and Tony Timpa that died just like Breonna Taylor and George Floyd respectively. But yet though they want to ignore that and say that, oh, well, police is targeting us, therefore let's defund the police.
Right.
Yeah. So also, the last thing I want to talk about is the socialism, because I've been studying this a lot. And you know how you hear people say that, oh, well, this U.S. government, they have a bunch of socialist programs?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually looking at it, I used to believe it, but I don't anymore. And I think reason why is because, and this is what I see a lot with the liberals and what they did with Black Lives Matter, that they make it so ambiguous and they take the meaning out of something in order to get people to support them so they could try to push this movement. And that's what I saw with socialism. When I actually truly looked at what socialism mean, I'm like, okay, socialism, there's a difference between socialism and a welfare state. Socialism is basically when you're actually taking the means of production, the means that's actually producing wealth, and you're distributing that, and it's government owned. Welfare system, you're not taking away their production. What it is a taxation, so you could support the well-being of the society. And with the taxation is that you're putting the money back into the system so you can have better infrastructure, have protection, and increase the overall well-being of the people. Now, when they look at these programs like universal health care, Social Security, and other welfare programs, I think that with people who are who are against it, it's not really so much against the program, but how people are being taxed. And what I've seen, especially with the universal health care, that they try to put so much tax on the people. They try, instead of having the government being responsible for the welfare of the people with something like universal health care, that they make the tax so high to make the middle class or even the elite people, make them responsible to take care of what the government's supposed to be. But at the end, it's still not, you still cannot consider it socialism, because the meaning of socialism is you're actually taking away the means of the production that's generating the wealth, and you're redistributing that. Nowhere in the welfare where you're actually taking the means that's generating the wealth from the people.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right, let's get to the next call here. And thank you all for being here. Great call from my man, Victor. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Got about a half hour left. Get some more good calls in. 713 on the line. I'm speaking to. 713. Who am I speaking to?
Andre Gerard.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, ABL? Colin, do you, I haven't heard on the media and everything else, but do you know about Kamala Harris's great-great-grandfather?
The slaver?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course, in Jamaica.
Yes, sir. So, funny enough, I had a family member that worked on a ship that actually carried slaves from Africa to them. So he also created Browntown. But this confuses me because I'm from Texas and everything else, but I don't understand how the black community can get behind a woman whose family literally sold slaves. It just boggles my mind.
I mean, people don't really, like if they like you, if they want to support you, if you got that D beside your name, that's pretty much all it takes. And
why don't the media bring us out? Why don't they talk about it?
Well, that goes against their whole. They don't want to do that because that would defeat their purpose. Their purpose is to get the Democrats elected. That's what the media's job is. So they won't do anything like that.
What about media such as like you and the Tatum and Miss Owens? That media, the true media that really gets out there to people and educates them.
Oh, we'll do it. We're doing it right now as we're talking on this stream, and I think I've done videos about that before. I talked about her past, the whole slave thing. I know guys that are doing that right now on their social media, big people that got big platforms. Yeah, I don't got no problem saying it either. But the mainstream media, they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They want to totally ignore it because it goes against their whole thing. But we're going to put out the truth, so we'll put it out. No problem.
Roger that. All right. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. You take care. Hey, and by the way, you would be great for office, sir.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to the next one. 403, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yes, 403, who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, it's Peter up in Calgary, Canada. How you doing, Anthony?
Everything's great, man. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Doing all right, thanks. You're tough to get a hold of, but I'm glad I finally got through. Hey, I just want to say a couple things about BLM and my insight being in Canada. It's getting a little ridiculous up here. We live in Calgary, a city that's going broke, and our mayor has raised $250,000 to put up 4 murals to celebrate BLM. I don't know what's up with that, but that's where our tax dollar goes. And I just want to talk about your last viewer who was talking about the socialism. I'm in Canada, man. It's as socialist as it gets. And it's not what everybody thinks. It's not the best system out there. There's better, capitalism's a good system, but socialism is not what it's all cracked up to be. And I'll give you an example. Everyone talks about the Medicare, universal Medicare. That's a big topic. Well, in Canada, you'll get fixed as long as you can stay alive long enough to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
You get what you pay for.
You got a real long wait time. Like, isn't it so long to the point where they come down here to the States to get certain things done because they just don't want to wait a very long time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a lot of that travel from Canada going south because you just can't wait for the medical system to fit you in. And in regards to the middle class, they're the ones that suffer the most, including myself and my wife. And I'm looking out my window right now, and we have what's called the homeless Hilton down here. And there's people living on the streets in our own city who receive the bulk of the redistributed wealth.
Okay.
It's crazy.
And you know what? The thing about it is, all that happens in that situation is that you attract homeless people to that particular place. They say, okay, we're gonna solve homelessness. We're gonna fix homelessness. All you're gonna do is just attract more of them. You're never gonna be able to solve it because you're creating an environment that's attractive for them. They're gonna travel from all parts of the country to come right there to be homeless, to be on drugs, or whatever they want to do.
Well, they do. And in our neighborhood, we actually have a guy that comes out and collects the needles. And I was talking with him. I said, hey, do you fill that thing up? And he goes, yes. He gets almost 80 needles every time he comes through the neighborhood. And so he's pointing out all the bad spots. And he was saying, man, you wouldn't believe what happens here. He goes, the city is giving out the needles. They're giving out the crack pipe things with the tin foil and the other pipe injection. And it's just crazy.
Wait. Hold on. Let's pause for a moment. They're giving out crack pipes?
Yes. The glass tube. They give out the glass tube. They give out the needles. They had a place here where you could actually inject it, where it was supervised. It's nuts. And that's right across the country, man.
Wow. Unreal.
That's socialism for you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I'm new to your channel. I've watched you a few times. I'm cool. It's cool that you're going live, man. I really like it. And I'm going to, subscribe, smash the button, stuff like that. And definitely follow you along because, hey, and all I can say to all the viewers in the United States, man, God bless you guys. Because up here in Alberta, it's pretty much pro-Trump. And most of my friends, pro-Trump. And we actually have some black friends, Anthony. A couple from Botswana and Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
They have great kids. They're pro-Trump. I mean, and all this BLM stuff. And I got a buddy who's from Halifax, who's multi-generational, whose family came up here on the railway from the slave thing. Way back in the day, man. And he's black, too. And he's like, holy Christ, Peter, this is nuts. I mean, it's just not a good scene. Anyway, that's enough of my rant, Anthony. Thanks for taking my call, and I'm going to tune in again. It was really nice chatting with you, bud. You take care.
All right, thank you for the call, man.
Go Trump 2020.
There it is, man. Thank you for your call.
Welcome. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. That's crazy. Now, I've heard of the needle exchange. Oh, they got to have clean needles. What's the explanation for the crack fight, though? And the tinfoil? I mean, what you going to do? You going to rock up the crack for them as well? You going to cook it up? Like, you got a government-sponsored crack house? Where you go from soft to hard? Is that what we're going to do, for real? That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. Crack pipes? The needles are bad enough. But crack... I mean, it's kind of like unbelievable, but I mean, it's 2020, so everything goes, right? You got free crack pipes from the government, and then they think, oh, we're just helping. You're creating an open air drug market in the drug den. Like, you're not helping. Talk about enabling. Have you ever dealt with addiction before in your life? If you ever dealt with addiction, you know that the worst thing you could do is give them tools to be able to do whatever they're gonna do. Giving them drugs, giving them alcohol, that's the worst thing you could do. All you're going to do is continue on the addiction. You will never, ever, ever, ever fix the addiction that way. That's not how that works. That's crazy. I mean, I'm just kind of like shocked. Okay, let's get to the next call. 630, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. This is Devin from the Chicago area.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, last week, it might have been Saturday, you said something about not trusting the Epic Times, and I was wondering, you said you had a reason for that. I was wondering what that was all about.
Well, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say I 100% don't trust them, but they're kind of just on my list to watch. I'm like, I don't know, because I'm going to tell you a story. I went to Black Voices for Trump. I think this was last year. This is when Trump was in Atlanta. You spoke. Herman Cain was there. Rest in peace. It was a really good time. Now, as we were leaving the event, we're inside the convention center, which is right across from the CNN Center in downtown Atlanta, where they had the riot and all that kind of good stuff. So we were right across the street from there. So we're inside the convention center. Now, as we're leaving, we're still inside the convention center, headed towards the doors. We were approached by two Chinese people. I'm talking like barely speaking any English. And they had Epoch Times papers with them. And they were like, hey, Epoch Times, Trump read paper, Trump. I'm like, why are they handing out Epoch Times papers? This is kind of strange for them just to be doing this. Like, why some random, I've never seen anybody just straight from China handing out papers before. It was kind of weird. And then I see them get mentioned all the time in some little troll farm type stuff and, you know, some kind of scammy groups. I'm like, all right, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to say they're just a bad paper or a bad organization. I don't know that, but it's some things that kind of just put a little, just you know, raise my antenna a little bit to kind of be wary. So that's kind of why I said that. But I'm not going to say that they're bad organizations. I don't know that. I'm just saying they're kind of on my watch list.
Okay. We have been getting their paper for about a month now. And what I notice is that there is where they say that they are pretty much a balanced news source. They are huge. They have a huge bias against the Chinese Communist Party, which, so do I, because I don't care for them either. But they are dead set on making sure that the China virus is blamed on the Chinese Communist Party. And then also there's a crisis going on. They report that there's a crisis going on in China right now where there are people who meditate a certain way, and they're being arrested for meditating.
Oh, Falun Gong.
Coming out.
Falun Gong.
Yes. Yeah. They're coming out strong against that. And they mention Falun Gong every single week for some reason. So I'm like, are you trying to indoctrinate me into following that, or is this like a real thing? Or, yeah, I'm not exactly. I don't know what to think. It's a decent paper, but there's a lot of that in it.
Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Now, like, I'm reading the chat right now, and they're saying that they may be Hong Kongers, or they're against. They could be a Chinese paper against the CCP. Maybe they're Taiwanese. I don't really know what's going on, but it could be something like that. The Falun Gong thing is really big. The Chinese government are definitely against it. But like you said, it could be trying to like convince you to be part of it. I don't really know. All I know is that there's some things in there that kind of just raise my antenna. That's all. But what you're saying does make sense considering what I saw at the event.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thank you for your explanation. It gives me something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, bud.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah. I don't know a lot about Epoch Times. I really don't read them, but I just had that experience, and I'm just like, well, that was weird. Like, why? I just didn't understand what was going on, and I'm hearing certain things. I'm just like, what's really happening? But like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know nothing. I'm just seeing some things that's kind of strange. So I just kind of got my eyes open. So I'm saying that you said they're saying they're good guys. Okay. Was it racist? I mean, I'm not racist. That's what they said. Hey, Trump read paper. Trump read. That's how they were saying it. I don't care. I'll do a Trump impersonation. I'll do a Chinese man impersonation. I'll do anybody. I'll do my own friends and family. How they sound too. I don't care. Ain't no racist. All right, let's get to the next call. Trump read paper. All right. All right, call you on the line. Who am I speaking to? 806.
Clint McCluskey.
All righty, man. What's happening?
I
I was calling. I know you've been on live here for a little bit, and I don't think you caught the news report when Trump did it. And I didn't know if you knew that the Act Blue gave Biden $11 million, which is backed by BLM. There is a donor to it.
Yeah. So Act Blue, they are the people that are the payment processors for BLM. And my question would be, okay, if Act Blue is a payment processor, I'm not necessarily Albert Einstein over here, but I do know that they probably take a cut of the money that you get through them. So BLM probably gets the majority of that money in their own pocket, but a piece of that is most certainly going towards Act Blue. And if Act Blue itself is giving money to Joe Biden, that money or a big piece of it most certainly came from a BLM for sure. So when they donate into a BLM, you're giving these random morons in the organization some money, but you're also giving the political people in the group some money. The Democrats that are part of the reason why Act Blue exists. Act Blue exists for the purpose of funding Democratic candidates. They are payment processors that give money straight to people that are donated to, and they also take a cut and donate some of that to whoever they want. So they definitely get that BLM money straight to Joe Biden's hands.
Right. And that, like I say, that was just brought up in Trump's after the Biden and Kamala did theirs, and then Trump and one of the media people asked him about it, if he knew that BLM donated to him. And like I say, I knew you were on air, and I wanted to get that information out to you while you were on air. But that was about all I had for you. And tell you, you're doing a good job, and I appreciate the work you're doing.
Oh, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. I'll let you get to the other calls. Bye.
All right, now. Shout out to the caller. Good information. All right. Let's get to the next call. 614, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Matt in Columbus. How you doing tonight, Mr. Logan?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
Great. Hey, great to get through here. I made a list. Let me see here. Number 1, yes, please do run for office. Do that, please.
All righty.
Okay? Got my 100% support here. Okay, so a couple things I thought just jumping out at me in the news here lately, right? Biden wrote systemic racism, and Kamala enforced it. And they're running on a platform of reforming the system that they wrote and enforced. How does that make any kind of sense?
It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. I mean, but hey, that's where we are nowadays. Like, I mean, Joe Biden running in general does not make sense. I mean, because how are you going to have this guy that's halfway dead running for president? That doesn't make any sense either.
Totally agree. In my opinion, the entire Biden campaign is elder abuse.
Correct.
It
yes.
really is.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I saw any of this going on with my neighbors that I care about, that I know might have their own medical, issues going on, and just people trying to obligate them to major legal deals, it's not responsible, right? So anyways, all right, so I got 2 other things here. One of these kind of funny. Did you ever notice in the corn pop speech there with Biden, that part where he gets to talking about rusty razors? They don't really talk about that part as much, but it really jumped out at me because he was talking to children, and he's talking to children specifically about race relations and going out to meet with this one black man he ever met named Corn Pop, I guess. I don't know. But that, not only do you need to have a straight razor with you, okay, in case you got to cut somebody up, but that razor better be rusty, and like he's saying this to kids, and it's like, Jesus, that was psychotic to begin with. That was psychotic at the time. It's deeply disturbing to just, decide we're gonna talk to kids about this now.
Yeah, so it's like, where's your awareness at when you saying something like that?
Right. I mean, I think that might be a war crime. I think if you did that in war, like you intentionally made your blades rusty, is that a war crime? It might be.
It could be.
I don't know. Right? Okay, I got one more thing for you. Got the time, then I'm done. I know you got them called staff. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, did you see the bit about 2 + 2 might equal 5, plus racism or something, minus no more bridges?
No, I've not
Did you
seen.
see
I didn't.
that?
No.
Okay, some goofy nonsense they're pushing about how I couldn't even explain the mental gymnastics you got to go through for this, but something to the end result of 2 + 2 might equal 5, So, and basically comes down to math is racist. It's hilarious. You should check this out. You'd get a kick out of it, man. Just if you search for 2 + 2 = 5, you'll get it all, right? So what my question for them is, okay, if 2 + 2 can equal 5, then what does it matter if I only think there's 2 genders, right? Like, you're just going to replace 2 with whatever, unicorns and stardust thought you want it to be anyway, so screw it.
That's right.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks so much for everything you do. Love your show. Shout out to the chat. Great chat. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you for the call, man. All right, no problem. Thank you. All right, shout out to the caller. Let me get to the last call here. Let's go. 972, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL?
Yes, indeed. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Aladdin Martinez. I'm here from Dallas, Texas, buddy. First time caller. Watch you all the time. Want to say thank you for having me on the line. It was really hard to get through, but you got my support over here, and I'm glad to be on live. Am I on live?
You're on live right now.
Oh, buddy, let's get talking. All right, man. I don't know. It's been crazy. It seems like after his pick with the VP that just came out, the internet's going nuts. I mean, starting to see everybody's going red. What do you think about that?
Well, everybody going red as far as like in general.
Yeah, looking like Trump's going. I mean, everybody's just going out there. I guess. So what I'm seeing is on Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of, I'm Hispanic, and I'm seeing a lot of blacks voicing their opinion on Instagram and Facebook, and it ain't going towards their way. And I guess it was not a good pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing more people coming out because it's like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going the other direction. I'm ready to try something new. They're not really respecting what's going on there. I don't like the picks. I'm going a different direction. And I'm seeing more and more in that. And it's been kind of a steady kind of, thing that's been going on for a minute.
That's so true. That is, man, it's amazing. I felt like we were just, so alone, social media has really just changed so much since the censoring, and Facebook, every time I post anything in our groups, for anything for Trump, it just gets deleted. And, man, I'm just glad you're out there doing your thing, man. I appreciate you just having me on. Which had more to say. Kind of excited that I got on your show, but I really appreciate what you do. Trump 2020, he's the man. You're the man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Okay, that'll be a wrap for the calls for tonight. I got super chats on deck, so y'all don't go nowhere. If you couldn't get on tonight, don't blame me. It's not my fault. Blame the white man. But no, super chats on deck. I'm gonna read those, so don't go nowhere. Stay for about 15, 20 more minutes. And also, if you're not like the video yet, like the video right now. Go ahead and do that for me. That'll help me out tremendously. And this show will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen to podcasts. I Should Be There. There's a link in the description box for the podcast. You can also search on your favorite social media platform or a podcast platform, for ABL Live. I should come right on up. It's like a little red graphic right there. Go ahead, subscribe to me over there on an audio streaming platform. And when you do find the podcast there, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating, a like or a share, whatever you can. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel that you're watching right now on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. And when you do that, click the bell so you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. All right. Super chats on deck, and then wrap it on up. Thank y'all again for donating through Super Chat, PayPal, Patreon, and buying merch as well. I appreciate y'all. And let's get to the first one here. Let's see, where was I at? Let me find my place. Shout out to, let me see. Was I tell you this one already? Okay. Take it to Flick Story Entertainment, who says, did you see the RIM info? I emailed you ABL. I really think they are the money people. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I got to check it out. I get a lot of emails, so I got to kind of just, get through it. But thank you for that. Shout out to Lily, who says, were you affected by the earthquake on Sunday? I never expected one in North Carolina. I woke up thinking my neighbors were doing some kind of crazy construction. No, I was not affected by it, but every now and again, if you're close to the Appalachians, you get an earthquake, because there was one in West Virginia a while back, and my cousins and them felt it up there, but it's usually really deep and like shallow. It'll give you like a little low. It's not like California where you get a surface close to the surface. It's kind of like real deep because we got older mountains in the Appalachians. But nah, I didn't feel it. But I am kind of close to the I am like in the Appalachians, but I'm in the southern part of the Appalachians. Let me see. Shout out to Wayne Steed, who says Chappelle needs to kick Kamala Harris in the WAP. Shout out to Zachary Titchen, who says, remember when Tulsi ended Kopamala? Keep it up from my left fan. Hey, thank you for your donation. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Max Dominguez, who says, Too Short probably wrote a couple raps about Kamala. Hilarious. Coming from Oakland. Absolutely. Shout out to Aaron Michelle for the cat emoji. I appreciate you. Thank you to... Oh, we got some Mandarin going on in the chat. Hold on, let me just translate that right quick. Shout out to all the mainlanders. Shout out to all the Cantonese. Shout out to all the Fusha. Everybody from the Fusha region. Everybody from Shanghai, Beijing. Shout out to China in general. And shout out to Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and North Korea and Japan too. Okay, hold on. Let's translate that right quick. And shout out to Mongolia and Tibet. I ain't forgetting about y'all. Okay, hold on. So let's go ahead and translate this. What's this, Mandarin? Or just Chinese? Okay. For everyone, it boils down to the high housing prices and the internalization of this is probably just not right. Yeah. Google Translate is not doing a very good job. And I can't read Mandarin or whatever that is. Okay, shout out to Monica Matthews, who says, I bought my Sir mug from your store. From now on, when Crazy Ivan talks, I'm going to be raising my mug. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shout out to Abraham, who says, Copper Kamala. Thank you. Shout out to Matthew Phillips, who says, clap for dropping Ivan. He was okay before. Now it's, sir, I'm going to put you on mute. You made your point, unmute. Ivan is still talking. There you go. Exactly. Shout out to Gary Stapp, who says, keep it up with the emoji working out. Thank you to Candace W, who says, just for putting up with our events and smiling, we love you. Well, thank you for your very kind words and your donation. Shout out to Jaraya, who says, ABL, love your show. When you run, just go ahead and make Tariq your running mate. Hey, shout out to my man Tariq, and thank you for your donation. Thank you to Coach99, who says, 2 weeks ago, Kamala Harris, quote, I believe the accusations of sexual assault against Joe Biden, unquote, yesterday, quote, I accept the position of being your vice president, unquote. Come on, man. Like the stream, everyone. Heart emoji. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to RHI or RIP, who says, have you heard anything about military members training Antifa? What about the helicopter that was shot at today? I've not heard about the first part, but the helicopter that got shot at, that was crazy. They were reporting that first. When I say they, I mean social media. They were saying that the president's security staff was on board. I don't know if that's true, but a helicopter did get shot, like actually got shot, and somebody got injured in the cabin and had to do the emergency landing in D.C., if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in Virginia. So yeah, that was crazy. But like I said, man, things are going to get wild closer to the election time. I'm telling you, man, it's getting crazy. Shout out to I'm against it press. Hopefully I said that right. Who says 1A and 2A every day. Thanks for what you do, ABL. Stay strong. I'm against it. Press. Well, shout out to you for that, man. Most certainly appreciate you. And thank you to enemy, who says, ABL, thank you for taking my call, Naomi. And shout out to you for your donation and your very kind words and your call. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to It's Raining, who says, ABL, appreciate you. Thank you to Joshua and Eric, who says, Willie Brown. Yeah, talking about Kamala Harris's former sugar daddy, former San Francisco mayor, the guy that helped her get to where she's at right now. while he was married and everything. But hey, we'll talk about that at a different time. Let me see. Shout out to Spicy Stir Fry. Great name for the thumbs up emoji. Shout out to Double O Tyrone, who says, Joe Biden down for the count, Trump 2020. There you go. That gets to Matthew Phillips, who says, shout out to the Calgary caller. He's not wrong about socialism and healthcare in Canada. Good to know Canadians can call you. I might call one day. Hey, everybody calling from all over the world. I get Asia callers, Africa, South America, Canada, all over, different islands, wherever. It don't really matter. Shout out to Europe, of course. Shout out to Ryan Noor, who says, I'm donating this time for the guy from Canada. And Ryan Noor also says, I forgot to say on my call, Kamala Harris got her start in politics being the Oakland mayor's side piece. You're right about that, sir. You're not lying. Thank you to Jane Gallardo for upgrading to ABL Superstar. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Matthew Phillips, who says, not surprised Canada's health services offer crack pipes. Our healthcare programs seem to create more health problems. And redistribution great? Yeah, exactly. Thank you to JD177 Air Gunner, who says, ABL, can you please make a Parler account? I don't know about that one, boss. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Leo Mazzina for upgrading to ABL Squad. Thank you to Natasha Duncan, who says, you are amazing. Hold on, let me get back to where I was. Thank you to Shane, who says, I said this 5 weeks ago. Amazon donated to BLM. BLM loots Amazon store and insurance pays Amazon. BLM gives to AdBlue. AdBlue gives to Biden. Well, there you go. There it is. That's a circle of life, ain't it? Shout out to Cranberry Langers, who says, Epic Times YouTube says they are a Chinese newspaper global. Okay, now I did see that. They are a Chinese paper, but not CCP, as far as I know. Now, if they're CCP, that's a whole different ball of wax right there. You might as well just read straight from CCTV. But that's a different story, so I digress. Shout out to Donnie the Don, who says, I'm black and just got pulled over by the police while listening to your show. They treated me with respect and I didn't get a ticket. Hey, there you go. Heart US. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. That's all you got to do. You get pulled over, and it's not really this big production. You be like, hey, here's my license, registration, insurance, all that good stuff, and that's it. I've been pulled over a few times, but it's because I had bad tags, or I might have been speeding, or a tail light. Nothing really major. But anytime I get pulled over, it's never no problem. Never scared. Some guys get their heart beating. Nah, here's all my stuff. There you go, and that's it. All right. Shout out to MK, who says 2 + 2 = 5. Plus no more bridges. Thank you for that. Thank you to R Blue, who says this will not be a race war. It will be patriot versus socialist. Pick a side. There you go. All day long. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to all you guys for being here. Shout out to all the PayPalers, Patreoners, Super Chatters, Cash Appers, everybody that watches, everybody that listens, everybody that subscribes, everybody that shares, everybody that emails, snail mail, whatever you do. I thank you for what you do. I couldn't do it without you guys. And shout out to Raider YD, who says ABL 2024. Thanks for all your content and opening a lot of eyes. Trump 2020. All right, there we go. And thank you to the moderators doing a great job as well, keeping the chat in line, keeping them trolls out of the way. Shout out to Marcus. I see you, Marcus. Shout out to Bill from the Hills, Michelle A. Shreves. You guys are fantastic. Of course, Killer Sushi, Rapper 10,000, Kim Bone. You guys are the best. All right, I'll see y'all again live tomorrow on Brandon Tatum's channel. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Again, Brandon Tatum's channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be myself, Derek Gradanego, and Brandon Tatum. And I'm not sure who the guest will be as of yet. It's always a surprise guest. I'll let you guys know when that comes about. I'll put it in the community tab of the YouTube page, also my social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Oh, go to my website, of course, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go there right now. Everything's up there. If you want my merch, if you want my flags, if you want to follow me, to email me, snail mail me, whatever, read my articles, everything's right there on the website. Alrighty. So that is pretty much all I got. So I will see you guys again Thursday on Brandon Tatum's channel, and I will see you guys again Saturday live. And of course, I put up videos pretty much every day except Sundays right here on his channel, twice a day, 2 live shows a week, and then the other live show, the third one, on Brandon Tatum's channel. So Wednesday, Saturday, I'm live here. Thursday, I'm live on Brandon Tatum's channel. All right, that's all I got for real this time. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.